for the grand final.
The crowd is electric today. We know who the favorites are in the arena based on the turnout. We have a packed arena ready for some awesome League of Legends, and I'm excited to see. Now, of course, this is not the first time that we've seen these two teams face off. When we kind of look at the entire year between MKOI and Fnatic, we know that it is very much MKOI favored. MKOI have the advantage in the head-to-head series. They also have a slight advantage in the head-to-head game record. But overall, it's been a pretty competitive year between KOI and Fnatic. And this is also true the last time that they met. In their last best of 5, it was an incredibly tense back and forth. But it was KOI that ended up coming out ahead. But notice that they were long game times, averaging 35 minutes throughout the series. It was KOI that was generally getting early game leads.
Yeah.
But they didn't really find themselves at a major deficit that much throughout the series. It was overall a very close series between the two teams.
And I think now when you're looking at the step up that Fnatic had yesterday, it certainly raises a lot of question marks as to where they can go. Even now, Supa burning that barrier in the initial trade as Mickey just gets a bit of a belly bop. So I think this is where we'll have to see what is the standard that Fnatic are bringing to the table. Because not only were we seeing Oscarinin step up fantastically, it was also the manner in which Fnatic were able to dictate how side lanes were controlled, how they interacted with Poby, and how they were able to remove their opposition from their own jungle. So MKOI, they want to go for this split push, they want to go for this 1-3-1, but they need to try and control Fnatic within that regard to make that work.
I think if we're talking about control, the hardest element's going to be this guy in the jungle. Quick side note, Yike and Razork, they're not the same. A lot of people criticize EU Vi, but this guy's Vi has been one of, if not the best in the region.
Absolutely. It's one of his all-time most successful champions. It's a champion that he always manages to find impact on, and we really saw that yesterday as Elyoya is looking to draw first blood.
Time gets move speed, but flushing into a stun in from upset, launching in his super, and a barrier will come, but it'll do nothing. First blood to Elyoya in game 1.
Really nice early aggression from Elyoya, trying to put pressure down on towards the bot side of the map. We know that Fnatic is typically a bot-focused team. Elyoya clears his bot side jungle, makes a nice gank happen. First blood for MKOI.
I also think he just avoided the ward. I didn't quite get to see his pathing, but Mickey in a little bit of trouble here.
It's all right. He's going to walk it out at the very least. Alvaro got chunked out, but he healed up to 3. The minion wave getting pushed in, and that can't be denied. Upset there to receive -2, but the rest of the wave.
And also Jojo Pyun positioning well here, just keeping himself out of harm's way from Poby. You can see that Razork was looking for some sort of answer in that regard, but not able to find it in the mid. Now he's starting to move up towards that top Scuttle Crab. I think he just looked to reset after this.
Razork can't do too much. Junglers will face each other in the eye pretty much, and for top Scuttle as they retreat and back off at the time being. It is a small lead over to MKOI, and it is that bot lane dagger that you were interested in, I know, and that also started with that summoner disadvantage of Super you burning barrier. They're now massively ahead. Upset on a Kai'Sa early with no summoners. Scream's dead. And another game for me as Mia went great trade as well. We're looking at top lane, and Oscarinin doesn't really have the healing capabilities this early, as he tries to get that Fury bar up. We'll have it now.
We kind of look at the state of the game right now, and given the wave state, Upset was still able to catch a lot of that wave on the bot side. So even though he fell short, he still finds himself with a small gold advantage in the AD carry matchup. Vi is now hovering towards the bot side of the map with Elyoya looking for a repeat gank.
I mean, this repeat gank is going to hurt. As I said, Upset has absolutely nothing to jump in. And a satchel charge, Upset about to die again. Super gets the kill this time. Mickey's up for a kill as well, and they give the second one to the Legend AD carry, and MKOI are blitzing the bot lane.
MKOI are smashing the bot lane of Fnatic. It has been a focal point for Fnatic all split long, and MKOI are looking to make sure it has no hope of getting the lead in this game.
Top is getting a little bit close as well, and it's in Miawen's favor most of the time with the trades, but they are even, and Oscar heals it up a little bit. Praise Seeker in, but man, the bot lane from MKOI, when it's so important, and when we're talking about how important that 2v2 is in the series, it really feels like they know where their bread is buttered.
It's just because Supa has been just exceptional this year at how well he can transition these leads into taking over in team fights and being the backbone of MKOI so often when it comes to these late game team fights. At Fnatic now, sure they will get the dragon, which is a nice little bit for themselves. But that deficit, those 2 kills towards an early Tristana are game-changing.
I mean, to me, Elyoya really is the mastermind behind all of this. Those early gang spot just working flawlessly. Typically, we see Fnatic heavily investing into that bot side of the map, but the fact that Elyoya primed and ready here in game one to shut down that key win condition that we know Fnatic for. Now they've swapped Super up towards the top side of the map. Grub spawning in about 2 minutes time. MKoi with a firm grasp here over the early game in game one.
But that wave on the top side is in a terrible position. It's pushing in towards Super. He is on Tristana, which makes the freezing a little bit more difficult. But Upset will still have to try and move up to get in position to take that wave control back. And you've got Elyoya now on that top side once more. So I'm curious how much attention is going to go into shutting Upset down.
Keeping my eyes on Elyoya once again. He's now on the top side of the jungle. Razork in a similar position, but Razork, while the ganks have been happening, has been prioritizing farm. Now he has ticked over to level 6. A strong ultimate has just become available, meaning that Fnatic can look to make plays, and here's Razork shadowing Mickey.
Okay, it's just Mickey going in, but Razork, Jens, I don't know if he was seeing he's level 6. Super can get buffed out here. There is no buster shot to send him away. Alvaro and Super, though, are super sus on this, and the body slam still connects, but it's onto the cow. Alvaro at half HP, instant flash away, and Razork doesn't pull the trigger of the ult.
The fact that the Q was down from Vi meant that there wasn't really any follow-up there, so Alvaro able to just get the pulverize and escape, but the ult underneath the tower.
There was a turret shot as well, but Oscar's completely fine. He just burrows out, and Mirwin, as he clears that away, is now an ult down.
TP being used from Alvaro to get back to top lane. The contest over the Scuttle Crab that Elyoya and Jojo feel a lot more confident in. Mickey in a bit of an awkward spot here. Super takes a massive chunk of damage down onto him. The grub spawning in about 20 seconds, and we have to turn our attentions once again to the presence of the junglers. Elyoya controls the river. Super has the push in top lane. There's a bit of a fight over that mid wave, but it looks like Koi is going to be first on the objective.
Yeah, I think this would be a terrible idea for Fnatic to try and contest.
Yeah.
You just don't really have the damage, and you're just happy to try and get any sort of farm on towards Upset at this stage. Because you can see like a 500 gold lead in the jungle, a 600 gold lead on that bottom side. That's not even to mention the coal that has been picked up by Super. So even with this advantage, Super is only going to snowball even harder. I think at this stage, try and make your cross-map play, and it looks like that's where Razork is already going to lend his attention.
But I mean, if he goes towards bot, he's not going to find anything off Mirwin, that's for sure. And Mbessa can be safe, and Oscar Rinning can't really do that much damage, so 3 grubs, and for a Tristana, guys. When you think about Mbessa and a side lane maybe later on with a couple of items, not a bad shout that MKoi are just running the early game right now on the rip.
Absolutely, and I feel like Koi is a team that yesterday we were talking on the desk about how we look at the bloodiness of teams, how many kills they're getting within the early game, and it's Koi that leads the pack. They're a team that is ready to scrap, they're happy to skirmish, they love to try and make stuff happen on the Rift, and so when they have a lead like this, they know how to press the advantage. The biggest criticism I've always had of Koi is when they enter the mid-game, they blunder. They make silly mistakes. We've heard it from them on the Euphoria podcast as well. Both Jojo and Alvaro were talking to us about how they sometimes just make these really silly mistakes. It's like their brains just turn off, and we saw it in their series versus G2. They had full control over that game. They had the Galio in the top lane, overextending. Things quickly fall apart.
We can backtrack to round 1 where the same happened with Fnatic, and even though Fnatic had some blunders in that series, it feels like both teams were kind of playing catch and ball. And so for MKoi, it's something that they share with Fnatic at the very least.
And that's the thing. Coming into today, the question mark is, can MKoi clean up those silly mistakes? Because we have seen and we know the potential of this roster, and this is where I really do think the home field advantage will give them that edge of focus. They already find themselves with a 1.4k gold lead. Dragon is spawning in about a minute's time. That pressure is moving towards the bot side as Fnatic threatening a dive.
Under Mirwin, the wave is up for grabs. He wants to clear it all, but Poby coming in to help the dive. The miss of the oldie from Mirwin and hit into a wall. Poby takes the kill, and Mickey helps the dive with the tank.
And that's a little silly mistake from Mirwin there. He could have ended up backing away, not gone down. Now, because you actually get the cross map, you will end up trading at least on the plates when it comes to it. But I think Mirwin should not have been left alone there.
Big shot comes out. Oscar Renan, he's fine. He's the tank. He'll absorb the pressure of Jojo right now, but obviously Jojo didn't opt to ulti up to that top lane. The play was just too quick from Fnatic.
But I think it was the right call from MKoi to put those resources bot. You have a Tristana that is further ahead thanks to this BF sword, and she will tear through towers. So that's where your advantage is in getting those plates and getting yourself further ahead. It's just that Mirwin needed to back away and not just stick around by himself.
I like the lane assignments that Fnatic have set up, but Oscar's really starting to suffer in this matchup against Jojo. We know Jojo to be a hyper-aggressive mid laner. He loves to trade, and now Oscarinin is experiencing that firsthand. 113 CS already. Flawless CS coming through from Jojo. Dragon now on the field, and with that control that Jojo has, and with Elyoya in the river already, MKOI looking to get themselves another objective.
It's the Sundered Sky and the Yuntals complete as well for MKOI. I really don't think Fnatic can take the fight, so they're going to try and find a pick instead, but great ward there will spot out Fnatic as they try to get into the bush, so it's wasted time from Razork not realizing he's been spotted.
It's a good entry into this game for the Dragon, especially, or rather second Dragon, as Cowman starts ringing the bell in the crowd. It's unfortunate that you dress up for 5 hours as a potential, and Alvaro has one chance to pick the right skin that complements the man that's been here for 2 days straight, and he picks the high noon Alistar. What is the problem? Oh, flash Razork, instant dive, and a bomber in. Now the Super's up there, he buffers. A body slam now used, and a buster shot as well. Upset gets in range, flash away from Super. Upset running in to get the kill, helped out by Razork, but it's a trade. Fnatic used everything to kill this Tristana. And now as Mickey runs away, he's trampled, he's stunned. Great body slam, gets him out of dodge. 80 carries both in the dirt after the play.
Great response from Elyoya as Poby goes underneath the tower. Maybe he stepped too far. He's forced to flash away.
Jojo matches though, sends a rock out. Manners getting low seismic, shoving Poby's down. Jojo's back.
That was huge from Jojo on the play in the bot lane. Jojo went to match Poby on the roam, gave so much of his health bar to deny the Galio getting down to that bottom lane. And he then punishes Poby for the overextension afterwards.
This game is getting out of control as KOI find fight after fight. Elyoya is everywhere on the map, in the perfect position for the objectives, ready to counteract Fnatic's plays, and overall think in favor of KOI.
Razork might have been born in Madrid, but Madrid belongs to MKOI right now, and it's Elyoya who's coming down to the bottom lane to cover the play with the buffer from Supa, and even the flash forward from Upset. He tries everything to get the kill, but it means they're able to turn it around really effectively.
The thing is that ulti from Mickey actually increased the distance between Upset and Supa, making it harder for Upset to really get the damage down, and then Elyoya arrives, that stun to really lock down Upset, making it difficult for him to do anything. 0-3-2 now the scoreline for Upset.
As we come back in as well, MKOI have full control of this jungle. Now Razork is getting the scraps. That's the Gromp for now. But MKOI using that pressure to spread between mid, spread between bot. They control the rift, but have they gone too deep by themselves? Alvaro says not. He pops Razork away. Elyoya with the damage. Poby comes in to save the day. Explosive cast in. Poby's ulti was cancelled, but Razork is deep, and Super's firing away with lethal tempo. Shoves are looking good this game as well to give Jojo his due on top.
The wall from Jojo was spectacular, arriving at just the right time to allow for KOI to win out on another skirmish. And we said this from the draft, with a composition like this with Taliyah Pantheon, it's very much about looking for fights, and they are just getting the better of Fnatic every single time.
Fnatic are trying everything that they can to catch people out, but as you say, Betty, MKOI are just not giving them a moment's breath to get themselves back at their feet. Alvaro now on the top side. He's spotted out late, Oscarinin.
He's going to see him with the tremor sense. He's got a tunnel system, and that's going to get him out of dodge. I think Alvaro was close to wanting to get in with a Hex Flash, but could not.
But it's bought the time Mirwin needs to reset to come back out now for this Rift Tower, which is just about to spawn, and that's going to be the next focus point. And Oscarinin still in trouble.
An angle, a great one from Alvaro. Oscarinin might think he's tanky, but not against three. Alvaro will sneak it away as this Alistar has been everywhere.
MKOI are everywhere. Fnatic glance at a part of the map, and it feels like MKOI have already reinforced it. They are playing with this semi-global composition so well.
2-0-5 for Elyoya, 1-0-6 for Alvaro. I mean, this jungle support combo is working beautifully in this game. 8-2 the scoreline. Fnatic is doing what they can, but again, Alvaro shows up to protect his top laner. It feels like that Fnatic is already out of options as Jojo is running rampant on the side lane.
We haven't seen Fnatic outside of 1 or 2 games actually be able to pull off this execute dive comp. And so far, there hasn't been a proper skirmish team fight of 3-4 people. It has been pick after pick. It has been MKOI outplaying after outplaying with Elyoya taking the driver's seat. And it does feel like Fnatic have been outpaced for these first 15 minutes.
And this is what MKOI talked about on Euphoria. Trying to play the faster game, trying to keep up the pace.
They're doing that.
So teams just can't survive. And we're seeing that come to fruition here. And MKOI talked about it, or Jojo Kyun talked about it in an interview with Hotspawn, saying, we have been working on our strengths over the last couple of weeks. We know what our weaknesses are, but we want to really show what we're capable of. And MKOI are doing just that right now.
I think the best story for me so far, especially Jojo's performance, was crucial coming into this, because versing Poby last time in round 1 and their recent performance, even against Caps, Jojo was getting solo killed. Jojo's performance did not look good in lane. Here today, while granted maybe an easier matchup, he has actually exceeded expectations to his last performance by far. 40 CS lead, 2K gold lead. MKOI are going to grow that gold lead for themselves as well as they get localized gold towards mid and ram the Herald in for their third turret of game 1.
And this is just where it gets so difficult for Fnatic, because this is where MKOI thrives. Outer towers down, a Tristana that can open up onto mid waves, the pace to keep control over sides, and the Dragons are going their way as well. Fnatic just don't have a way to force MKOI to play their game.
I mean, Koi is playing insanely clean right now. The way that they focused the bot side of the map very early on, the way they've rotated Super and Alvaro around to keep pressure up everywhere. I mean, they've gone all through outer towers. Outside of the first Drake, they've had full control over early objectives. They're leading in the kills. I mean, this is one of the cleanest games that we've seen so far from Koi.
Yeah.
We now just need to see them close it. And that ultimately becomes the big question, because again, we talk about their ceiling. We know what the potential is of this roster, but we've seen them so many times make these silly mistakes that give teams ways back into the game. And with the vice script that they have on Fnatic right now, they can't afford to leave any of those windows open.
And if we're talking about those windows, I mean, Fnatic can climb through it with this Vi, with this Galio, right? They launch, they send, they press their go buttons, and MKOI can be caught out. So I see that as potential, but I want to see MKOI, as you say, close out this lead, because at 5K, with the Tristana almost 2 items with Infinity Edge and 2 Dragons this early into the game, it does feel like it is the glazed MKOI show, which is fitting considering their success rate and their time at Madrid so far. The crowd's packed out, and we know, yes, for Fnatic partially, but man, MKOI are filling the seats.
Fnatic are definitely trying to set up for picks, though. You can see the amount of ward coverage that they have on this bottom side of the map. And even Oscarinin on that initial reset hovered in base and waited to see if that TP play could potentially work on these picks. So MKOI at least doing their due diligence of push out waves, then enter into areas that are dark. Don't give Fnatic that moment to find picks, because that's exactly what they did yesterday in game number 1 against KC to get the lead in their favor.
Let's see if MKOI are a different beast. LEC are lying in wait. Fnatic moving around mid for now. No objectives up, and it's Mickey clearing wards while LEC plays a patient game.
Look at some of the items that have just been completed. Infinity Edge finished for Super. It looks like Jojo picking up the needlessly large rod as well. He is just so accelerated on the Talia with a 2K lead over Poby. I mean, the Otacon has to be the next objective, and Fnatic, that'll be their opportunity to try and find a way back into the game.
Sorry, I thought there was a gate from LEC, but turns out there was a line of tunnels. So Oscar in, and he just goes through, and he's out every time. That was a second time around that MKOI have tried to find something on Oscarinin, but he survives.
But it is Fnatic having to cede space as Mickey, he's on the wrong side, and here's the TP from Jojo.
He wanted to flank this, LEC even ultis in, and dead, and an instant Super with Infinity Edge just makes him meet.
Silly positioning there from Mickey. Didn't really have the pressure on the map to be that deep into the enemy jungle. And LEC has already demonstrated time and time again he's ready to collapse at a moment's notice. Jojo going to keep pushing in this side lane, getting good damage onto Oscar. The slow from their allies doing work.
Yeah, another tunnel though. He's going to be okay, but you can see, as you said, the damage is starting to mount up quicker than Oscarinin can get these HP items, and it's going to get worse as well as that needlessly large turns.
But this is exactly where MKOI wants Fnatic. As you say, like, Oscarinin can't stand in a side lane by himself. Poby can't really either. So MKOI are getting control over the side lanes. Supa already has push advantage in the mid. And MKOI are patient on making sure they're not giving Fnatic these picks, even finding a pick onto Mickey themselves. As long as MKOI can keep this slow burn, it's exactly what their game plan wants.
Fnatic, meanwhile, it's playing around this vision, isn't it? Mirwin walking in, Fog of War, Razok sets it up. Poby's going to ulti in, but Mirwin only just at the edge. Is Mirwin dead? The big question. Razork re-engaged in the whole of MKOI lineup. A weird ulti from Mirwin, but ignore that because Alvaro finds two. Over the wall, Poby runs for his life while Super jumps in, but El Presidente is now down. He ran in without the security guard. Jojo's isolated. Good pop-up from Alvaro again, but now the Oscar Renan's here. He'll get a shutdown. Elyoya also isolated. Mickey's dealing with Jojo. Elyoya helps finish that one as well. As Upset also dies. It was a close call, but I think MKOI can breathe a sigh of relief.
A very scary moment indeed when Super jumped into the Dragon Pit by himself. I thought that Koi was making themselves into another mistake. Mirwin does a great job of surviving here. A quick flash as he uses his mobility to get as far away as possible. The redemption buying him a little bit more time. Three members of Fnatic find themselves now very deep, and it becomes easy for Koi to get the re-engage.
And then even with Super going over, this is where I was like, uh-oh, hang on a second, lads. But as you say, MKOI just hitting them with their wallets at this stage. Hobie can't really get involved. Upset is stuck in the pit, and it's MKOI taking the slow walk down to finish off Fnatic where they don't belong.
Mirwin coming back in as well really saved the day, but Elyoya, target selection crucial there, and you said wallets, I see it. Even in that whole play, even though it looks like the game shutdown's over, it was a 1,000 gold lead. Fnatic are still in the dumpster right now. It is still on fire, and with third Dragon up for MKOI, they can take that, or they can move their pressure towards top. The map should be theirs, at least 70% of it. As it's going to be solid by Elyoya, then other options to how they play up the side lanes.
I really just want to give a shout out to Jojo and Elyoya. Obviously, so many resources were invested into Super in this early game. Just as I say that, Jojo, if Caster cursed him. Oh, never mind. He's just going to turn that around.
Brings Elyoya's ult in as well. Pops his own onto Jojo. Tries to take him out, but with the Pantheon there, it's too much.
Perhaps a Caster blessing for the first time in history. Because it's that duo that really has been standout for me in this game. Jojo's just incredible laning, has amassed his individual lead to an incredible amount, and Elyoya has been everywhere on the map. Koi is so clearly locked in here in game one, and they have been rampant from start to finish.
And how do you try and fight back against this as Fnatic? You're 6k in the deficit. You're still waiting on an upset to really come online. And the dive is just not working. MKOI are so strong and have so many ways to deal with that as well. The Zhonya's Hourglass now for Jojo. Super with the buffers. And even we saw like Mirwin, who's using that ultimate in fights just to deny the CC, even if he wasn't hitting people. Fnatic just feel lost against MKOI.
And I think one of the biggest differences that Fnatic is experiencing now is yesterday it was kind of a slower mid-game, right? KC weren't drafting super aggressive compositions. They were more trying to react to what Fnatic was doing on the map. But Koi, as you were saying earlier, Dagda, fast pace, and they're looking for another fight once again.
Stop Poby. He's in the middle of nowhere, gets helped out by Razork, but he gets sent in the air. Ability to move! Super doesn't even get ulted in the end as Razork is down. MKOI 5 versus 4, a Baron up in 55, Razork in 35.
Fnatic are scattering against the might of MKOI. They continue to find the picks. They continue to push forward, and Mickey wants to go against Mirwin, but he has to back away because there is no way Fnatic can try and fight this.
It's a bit whiplash, isn't it, after yesterday? After Fnatic's impressive performance, you're right. I love these points on the early game that Movistar Koi punished them so much more than KC could. They didn't get to scale. They didn't get these 1-2 items on things like the Kai'Sa, on the Galio as well, on that full dive. This game felt like it was over at the 15-20 minute mark, and it is a slow burn right now with 8.5k in MKOI's pocket being the difference. It is a great entrance into their home crowd. It is a great entrance into the series when yet another grand finals is on the line for the winner.
And look how clean that goal graph looks. Just the sheer steps to victory MKOI have been able to achieve, and it feels like the next two are soon to follow. 2:30 until Seoul for MKOI. Baron has just spawned, and for MKOI, honestly, I think they can just start the Baron if they really want to, but I think the patience from MKOI MKOI will tell a different story of them just continuing to push in these side lanes.
I really think that they're going to force it. They've got a good push on the bot side of the map right now. I thought that they would actually move Talia into mid lane to get that push and then move Super up. They're going to have Super clear this wave instead. But you can see that the vision is coming down. They do have one deep ward from Fnatic that hasn't been cleared out behind. This could be a TP angle for Oscar Rinnan to contest this Baron. But I would love to see a Baron force from Koi really put that extra pressure onto Fnatic.
I think this is where you get to see what is the headspace MKOI came into after that G2 loss, where they end up throwing that near 10k gold lead. If the Baron isn't going to be their focus, I think it is just, hey, we need to just play it slow, because I think the only way Fnatic potentially come back into this is a blunder at Baron.
Agreed.
I still think they, like MKOI, I agree with Fetty, are far enough where they can just force it, but maybe that is just playing on their minds of, hey, let's just play this out as slow and as by the book as possible. No need to put risks onto the table.
I'm not going to pretend like bigger games weren't thrown right as well. It ain't over till the next falls in our region, and Mad Koi, Movistar Koi, old habits die hard. It does feel like, again, they've really learnt from their playoff journey so far, from their split so far as well.
So my only criticism of Koi, massive item advantage. By not putting pressure on that Baron there, they've allowed Fnatic a little bit of time to get a few components.
That is true.
And I think that Upset is now actually going to go back to base, and he's going to complete the Nash's Tooth. And it's these small items that can make the difference in these fights. And there's the Nash's now finished for Upset. And so these small windows where Fnatic have been given a little bit of breathing room, like, I'm not saying that it's going to be game-changing, of course,
but it matters.
It gives Fnatic a few more options to fight back.
It does feel like MKOI, it's like, okay, not going to fully send it, and now we're not going to do it anything at all. But for now, MKOI still hold control, so it's not to say that this game won't come to a crushing end here with 15 seconds as Mickey gets away from the seismic shove. Alvaro gets tagged out. That soul is up for MKOI next as Elyoya finds Poby in the target, but Upset flies in, the shield blocks everything, but Elyoya is isolated. He flushes over the wall, he gets out. Redemption to heal only Mickey up, but Fnatic have a window, have a chance. Jumping into Alvaro, Oscar Rinnan, he's in the middle of it all. Flush from Razork, sets up Poby's ult from afar, hits no one. Onto Jojo, he's going to be sent into the middle as Upset takes him down. Koi, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, Nealon says, it's okay, it's not over yet. Razork jumps in, Super runs out, he flashes out, lethal tempo, double kill, wait, Super, oh my freaking god, he could have carried there, but now we've only got Elyoya, we've got Oscar Rinnan into the midst of it, Razork just trying Elyoya, soloing them all, misses the spear, Oscar's close to running back in, but Razork running through slide, it's 2 versus 1, but why do I think Elyoya can win this, jumping in, winning it. That is the Jungle King of Madrid.
Elyoya saves it at the very end of the fight. He's going to secure soul for Koi, but my goodness, what a tense fight as Fnatic pushed Koi to their very limits.
That felt like the battle for Spain's approval, and it's Elyoya who stabs Fnatic through the heart, who will take the Hextech Soul and will push MKOI one step closer to victory.
That was so bloody close to an MKOI throw.
It starts with, honestly, an Elyoya mistake. Look at how much damage he takes as Upset ults into the engage from Poby, forcing him out. Fnatic know they have a health advantage. Razzle goes in super deep, but a good Zhonya's comes through from Jojo. Now the fight becomes scattered. Jojo falls, Upset becomes the main carry, but Super still alive, we're back to live.
Poby gets a stun, he gets a taunt rather, flashes away. Elyoya on the chase with the movement speed, doesn't find it. It's because Baron is up, so Elyoya at the right place at the right time. And we are back to square one. We have a soul on Movistar Koi. So the game is just as doomed for Fnatic as it was before, but we now know if Upset gets up time, there is danger here for Koi. So Baron is the focus. Elyoya has a GA now. Let's see how it's played out.
It's just so much harder now with the Hextech Soul, though. You're such a short-range composition. The slows, the AoE, those chains can do so much work in a fight against Fnatic. And even in that last one, it was nearly as good as it can get. Like, you get on towards Jojo, you're able to get into position where Oscar Rinnan can keep Mirren off the back line. Fnatic need to make that miracle happen again, but Alvaro going all in.
Oh, and Oscar not as tanky as he thought. Mirren catches him by the tail. The Demon Gorgon is down, and MKOI have a 5v4.
Beautiful engage from Alvaro, and now they have the numbers advantage. Razork trying to find him. He's on the red buff. It's going to be very difficult for him to get in as Alvaro acting as gatekeeper.
Unbreakable Will, flush from Alvaro, gets a good pulverize. Seismic Shove doesn't connect, Razork on the back line, but can't find a pathway into the Baron. It ain't no 50-50. It's MKOI's 100% success around Baron for this game.
Any small glimmer of hope that Fnatic was relying on is immediately snuffed out by a great engage from Alvaro. With the Baron secured, MKOI can set their sights on the base of Fnatic and look to close out game one.
MKOI, there were slight jitters at that last Dragon fight, but this has been clinical. It has been slow, it has been methodical, it has been patient, and it has been crushing for the Fnatic fans, as now the base will crumble alongside them.
It's been an interesting charade, at least for Fnatic in this first game. One moment only, but MKOI, they have been the daddies. If you want to take it to the argument, Jojo sent in, but nothing done. Fnatic to defend this seems so difficult right now as top inhibitor's going to drop. Mid-wave's getting pushed in, or rather, at least intercepted. 4 members with Baron, keep the streamline of minions in the top wave, and Fnatic. This defense gets harder and harder. Poke damage is not even doing that much from Upset.
MKOI, though, they don't need to rush this. They've done good damage on the top side. They have another wave now approaching in mids. Rather than try and play off the bot wave, they do seem a little bit indecisive here as Fnatic has amassed their members in the mid lane. But they're just waiting for the super minions to start stacking up in top lane. There's the first wave. MKOI, looks like they don't want to push their advantage much more. Mickey with a very deep position here.
Mega deep. Mickey with the flank of all flanks at 12,000 down. He's looking for super, surely. But who's with him?
Question is this a famous Sven flank, or is this a flank that could change everything?
Razork
They found Jojo.
Alvaro's by himself, but MKOI taking away the turret. Okay, they jump into Jojo, but he goes golden. He buys time. Poby's entrance does nothing. Elio runs in as well. They find one, and MKOI have super at full health, full ego, fully standing. He'll clear the right side of the fight while Poby dies on the left. When you thought Fnatic could come back to this game, where were you? It was one moment and one only, as MKOI are in front of a home crowd. It's Madrid, baby! Why the hell would they not beat down the foreign competition?
Fnatic thought their colossal composition was enough, but they stand before a Spanish god, El Yoya, decimating Fnatic in the early game.
Whew. What an one from MKOI, as they really made Fnatic feel the pressure here in game one.
Shocks, that was a stomp. I'm sure you agree to some degree, but that was a stomp.
I think it was. Movistar Koi, they don't know what it means not to be warmed up. They just absolutely go for it from minute one, as we welcome you back to the Marriott Bonvoy Analyst Desk. Incredible. I mean, Jack Spectra, we thought perhaps it would take a while to get him all warmed up, but it didn't, as we have Jankos joining us as well.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite the stomp, wasn't it? I was really surprised. I think Elioya especially put on an absolute show with the early game ganks, getting incredibly fed, and then utilizing that lead to even carry later on in team fights.
Absolutely, yes. I think his early game was very good. If you watch closely, LCK and LPL, it is quite popular right now to level 3 gank. And something that Fnatic was actually anticipating, they had that ward in that little pixel brush in the river, but they didn't expect Yoya coming from behind and getting that early kill. I feel like that just snowballs the matchup. I think as soon as Fnatic is playing from behind, they can't really snowball, they don't have enough damage. So I believe it was played well by Yoya.
And that's exactly what they need, because yesterday everything from Fnatic was, you know, still going through the top side, but at the same time it was always about Upset being good in the game. And what better way to cut, you know, a team's, you know,
Strength.
momentum walking into a series like that than to just let
Crowd advantage, even though Fnatic are sporting Oscarinen and Razork. And after yesterday's support, you know that it goes so much further when Movistar Koi already started off with a bang. And when Madrid is supporting them, I hear trumpet guy, I hear a drum guy. I think we need to get the band back together again as we run into the rift for game 2. Let's see if Fnatic can finally show up in this series.
Game one was very much about Elioya in the early game. Ooh, that was a close one. Upset gonna go back to base in time. But Elyoya is the man that was kind of the star after game one. The fact that that final team fight came so close and he was able to have the performance that he did, the fact that his early game impact was absolutely monstrous. He was all over the map. Elyoya, playing in an environment like this, you can really see the impact and the caliber of a player that he is. Now on the Wukong, we expect him to have less of an early game impact. That level 6 is what his priority is likely going to be, but what a standout game one from the man in the jungle.
I gotta be honest with you. Elyoya is someone who, again, like, doesn't really fall off too much. I feel like runs the region. I still think of him as like a newer jungler, but then I'm like, hang on a minute, it's like 5 years. You know, and I started watching LEC back in the time of Misfits, Betty. Like, I was watching afar, watching the Hans Ignar roster. And during COVID, I was doing a lot of LPL. And I didn't see this guy's rise to fame. But over the years, what a success story. I think one of the most exciting stories currently in the LEC is how this guy also just doesn't seem to miss out on Worlds.
Absolutely. The man is kind of stock standard when it comes to international competition. And with the Koi roster that he has right now, I think he, along with so many others, see the potential of this roster. And we want to see it realized as they fight to make their way back into the summer finals.
Interesting to see, though, Fnatic again opting into the strategy we saw from them yesterday. This lane swap coming through with the AD carry. So Upset solo farming into the Rumble on the top side. It's Oscarinin who's down on the bottom side. And the idea, again, being Upset can get a decent time on this top half of the map. Oscarinin was going to fall behind in the matchup anyway. So it means that in this position now, you end up with Upset getting out to an early lead and Oscarinin getting to kind of scale relatively well as he farms up under the tower and Mirwin gets hurt.
And the swap timing is very specific for Mickey as well, as Jojo getting very low.
Sorry, guys, I'm on the edge of my seat because even with the potion, with an auto attack and dissonance like that, if he didn't level up, Jojo could have been dead meat. Misses the Q, gets the W in the end, but Poby's in a very good position in mid.
Keep your eyes on Mickey now, because of course, due to the changes in the lane swaps, if Mickey had just gone to top lane early, the game basically says, nah, don't do that. And so you have to now time your swap at a very specific time, and Mickey gonna arrive at just the right time. So he will be a little bit behind in experience. But you look at the 280 carries, you can see Upset with about a half a level of XP up. And as you said, very much a strat that Fnatic use into Rumble, specifically based on what we saw yesterday. And Upset already off to a good start here, even if Super doesn't really find himself that much farther behind.
Getting busy though, heal from Mickey, dive stops there. Look at how far the wave is.
Big mistake from Upset. He tanked the tower early, which meant that Upset had to bail, Mickey had to burn the heal, and they end up falling apart. So Fnatic fumble the dive, but will MKOI do the same?
The biggest question is Oscarinin. He's very hard to dive. He can get a shield up, and he does indeed. Bellow's Breath tanks up, and Super's tanking from afar, but the damage needs to come through. He gets low. Elyoya wants to take this into round 2 territory, and with a pillar up and another E on the way, the flash away, Oscarinin on the weak side, acting like a king. Another searing charge. Come at me, say the top laners. Elyoya almost died. 3 versus 1, and Oscar's being daddy to 3 kids.
Beautiful outplay from Oscar. Upset even goes back to bot lane.
He's coming in red hot. Elyoya's got his flash available, but Razork's going to wait for the fear and look to match it. The movement speed there, tagged out. Elyoya goes invis and plays it very well.
Well played by Elyoya, using the brush to make sure that he didn't get the tether off immediately. And Elyoya doesn't even have to burn the flash to get away from it. But Oscarinin, fancy footwork in the bottom lane.
The man is still locked in. What an outplay from him, navigating through all that CC that Koi was threatening. Upset able to push in this wave bot. Super likely not going to lose too much off the back of this as he arrives just in time to catch the cannon.
The crucial thing, though, is that Mirwin was able to get that CS in the top side. Oscarinin had to forego the CS, so a little bit of a gold lead, even if the experience isn't that big on the top laners. So at least for Mirwin, he's going to be fairly happy with the way things have been going in the early stages.
In Fog of War, in darkness, fear spreads. Oscarinin with no summoners. Is this where he could be dead? Elyoya is coming in. He has no knock-up, though. A searing charge out of there. They want to do some damage. Flashing, full committal, overheating, burning down. Mirwin's heat is stronger for first blood.
A nice gank from Koi. Elyoya says, hey, it didn't work out the first time, no problem. Let me just try again. And they make it happen. The wave state was very nice for Mirwin. You talked about it earlier, Dagda, that The fact that Mirwin was able to catch that wave, the fact that they could get the wave in a position to make it very awkward for Oscar. He's super extended in the top side of the map, and there wasn't much that Razork could do to help. Well played as MKOI once again draw first blood.
And it very close to going sideways, to be honest. I think if Oscar in it had actually got that brittle proc off of the auto attack, it would have been enough CC for MKOI to actually go down underneath the tower. But again, it's Elyoya kind of dictating the pace of this early stages. And it needs to be on Fnatic now to find some way to take him down.
Again, by the way, dictating early game on a champion that has less dictation in early game. Fate is sealed onto Poby at level 6, won't be able to do a thing. Jojo hit what he needed, and Elyoya was there when he needed to be.
Again, he's on the board, and again, he's making the differences happen, and that was kind of the one shining light for Fnatic. Poby had opened up a good CS lead for himself, was punishing Jojo, but Elyoya turns that around in favor of Jojo.
Elyoya continues to be the star here in this series as he's making his presence known on the map. Early ganks converting into early kills as Razork desperately tries to get 6 as quickly as he can. Poby, good guy Mickey, keeping the wave safe for him, so at the very least he doesn't lose out on too much, but
he's such a homie.
Jojo getting that kill puts him at a gold lead over his mid lane matchup.
Now, gents, quick check-in, because the early game has been a lot about these overloading dives. It is a small CS lead, or rather gold lead, I should say, not really much, but Upset does have something in the bank. Mid lane, because of that kill, Jojo was able to catch up on what is a 12 CS lead, and probably going to minimize a little bit more. Once again, we already highlighted Elyoya with the assist CS gold, but that rumble in a great spot as we're tunneling in. Call the Forge God at max range. Razork and Oscar Rinnan on the same page.
Fnatic finding something back. They call it everything to make that one happen, but they needed that to make things work. And Mickey now trying to get aggressive on the top side.
I think it's super important that as a Nocturne, you're able to use that ultimate as often as you can. It's such an effective tool in the early game. I wasn't expecting Oscar to join in on the gank, but hey, Fnatic find themselves a kill. The gold remains even, and Poby immediately puts himself back in the driver's seat of this matchup.
I think it's also big for Oscar Rinnan. Shockwave goes mid. Jojo looking for a bit more. Doesn't have the Fate Unsealed available, so he just back away. But for Oscar Rinnan, he's having a miserable time. 36 CS, 8 minutes into the game. But being able to move around the map and look for these ultimates, help out the rest of the team, is the only way that you're going to be able to try and drag Fnatic back into this game.
You know what Finn told me the other day? He's like, you know, if a tank can get to like 20 minutes and have 160, 170 CS, I think Duanby said they're having a good time, right? But you're right, it's that little bit lower in the threshold. It is all that attention that Oscar Rinnan's had it. Let's see how relevant he becomes in the mid-game. As by the way, MKOI just picked up 2 grubs out of 1. Razork's getting invaded on now that he's level 7. No relevance in the level, just wanted to let you know that he is above Elyoya. So Elyoya's trying to get in the way. He comes over in his shadow. Alvaro on the way as well. Cyclone out. Razork trying to bide his time. He's got help though. But Fnatic, a dove on. Great engage from Alvaro. Jojo gets the ult, but misses it. Upset sends the feathers out. And as Jojo's there, he still gets through. Takes the turret shot from Narnia. Okay. Comes back out of the wardrobe. Jojo's okay.
Good aggression from Koi as they realized that Razork, isolated in his jungle, was an easy target. But Razork plays that beautifully. He spell shields to knock up from Elyoya so that he can connect the Fear Tether to allow him to create space. But I thought that with the stun coming through from Alvaro, that would be enough to actually convert some kills in favor of Koi. Unfortunately for Koi, Jojo and Super just weren't quite there in time, allowing for Fnatic to get away to safety.
And it also gives Poby a little bit more time alone in that mid lane again. So even though the kill initially went across the Jojo Pyun, still that little bit of gold lead for both the jungle and the mid of Fnatic. And I think this is where you have to try and put your hopes and dreams on. Poby even opting in towards the more aggressive build from the Orianna, going for that Ludens, even with the early Dark Seal as well. He knows if he can make this combo work, he can really start that snowball into things like the Magi's.
Mickey looks towards top. The level 4 Rakan has been perma roaming. A little bit further behind on the EXP train than Alvaro. He's not able to find anything but a little bit of pressure, and just giving Poby that little edge of reason to push further under the turret. Razork, meanwhile, trading on the other side of the map. Call the Forge God. He's going to get a flash out of Mirwin, but the lights go off. Now, no target found. Razork just quickly blinks, turns around. Meanwhile, top goes through, and Poby does Shockwave again.
Yeah, the lights go off, but no one's home in that bottom lane. They can't connect on towards Mirwin, and Fnatic That's kind of just the ult wasted now from Razork. And you were talking about earlier, Veddy, you really need to make every one of these ults count for Fnatic.
Yeah, losing vision there, somewhat ironic against the Nocturne. But Elyoya now wanting to make his presence known once more as Oscar isolated in the bot lane.
Look at the mana bar steering charge already used. He's got time for a Bellows Breath, so he's trying to wait it out. Good bonk. Elyoya gets out of there, but Oscar's low and sent packing.
Elyoya just didn't quite have that ultimate up and available. Just a couple more seconds, and that could have worked out because Oscar didn't use the Bellows Breath to try and clear the wave. That could have been a play, but just couldn't quite find the cooldown that he needed.
Jojo looking for the 1v1, more so Poby looking for the trade. Guys, I feel like MKOI's early game has just been Operation Bully Oscar Rinnan. I feel like it's like Daddy's Home if you've seen the Will Ferrell movie with Mark Wahlberg. This feels like the second one where Oscar Rinnan has to verse his stepfather as well, and Elyoya making this bot lane in congruation with it. That's the first dragon of the game, by the way, as Fate Sealed misses onto Poby. Alvaro coming in for the engage. Jojo takes a bit of a walloping. It's a good shattering strike, but Poby stays alive, gets the push, and continues to flourish.
Poby doing a great job sitting solo in this top lane. Mickey has to provide cover because we know how vulnerable Orianna is in a long lane like this. And with the threat of Alvaro present, Poby, though, doesn't have to use the flash. He's got pretty much half a level lead over Jojo, given all the early game shenanigans that have been playing out. Looks like that he's heading in the direction of the Blackfire Torch.
Oh, Alvaro, you annoying man.
Going to continue to interrupt those bases. First item now completed for Razork. Going to get a lot more value when that ultimate comes through. Cannon going to be missed there by Upset as Super. Remember, a lot of these swaps early were to try and get Upset a little bit more of an advantageous position, but
Boom.
XP is the same. The farm is in favor of Super, and he's just been doing a great job of keeping up with all the action that's been happening on the Rift.
The thing is, though, as Fnatic are hitting these item breakpoints, there's not really objectives on the map for them to take, right? Void Grubs were split 2-1. Dragon was taken by MKOI as we're looking towards that top side of the map. So you have a bit of time as MKOI to try and hit some of these item breakpoints, and it really will be 2 minutes at that Rift Herald where we really start to look towards these big scraps that could potentially happen. And at that stage, I think Jojo should have his Blade of the Rune King completed, as long as Alvaro can help keep him safe, because Fnatic looking to put some pressure up towards Poby.
I feel like if Poby's in a good position, you know, for Fnatic, they have that solid all-round player that, again, is quite reliable. And especially yesterday, we saw that communication step up to a new level of coordination as well. And what I mean is Poby right now, as he gets this push in, is going to be heading towards that first item. A lot of plating available as Mickey continues hovering. Jojo at half HP, easy to poke under turret, while also there's a Nocturne nearby.
Yeah, Fnatic should be able to just back away from this, though. Fnatic aren't actually trying to overcommit, because keep your eyes in the mid lane as this keeps happening. Because all they're doing is forcing MKOI to bring Supa to the top side, overload the top half. And actually, Upset has just been silently farming and got a play for himself in the mid lane as well, just before this happens. So this is where, again, Fnatic just kind of using that map pressure.
Turning into a dive, turning into a dive. Paranoia, the lights are off. Shockwave only finds one. A Fate Seal to get out of it. A nice Magnet Storm, but will it be enough? Jojo, and meanwhile, as Poby goes down to a turret, will still die. Razork for the chase. Alvaro's up next. There's an exhaust from Razork's like, how do I get out of this? The answer is, you're done. Super comes up for his first kill of the game, while Mickey's on the great escape, but Alvaro is on a horse, and it's unfair for the bird person. The flash, Mickey responds thusly, fall to the Valkyrie, and Super Duper back on the board big.
A dive goes horribly wrong for Fnatic. Poby getting executed by the tower. The dive only getting Joe, and we'll keep track of how Poby actually gets aggro. First he takes that initial tower shot, the shockwave comes through, then he gets tower shots again.
Faded Ashes.
The Faded Ashes ends up drawing that aggro. Razork does secure that kill, but then the arrival of Super means disaster for Fnatic.
Yeah, Razork ends up falling. Fnatic crumble, and you can see again, Upset was kind of sticking in this mid lane, and this is where I thought Fnatic were just going to be patient like they were yesterday, play for these small advantages on the map that accrued into this massive lead, but they try to pull the trigger and only shoot themselves in the foot.
Hurts him a lot, doesn't it? For Fnatic, that anti-dive gives Super so many more resources. We were just talking about Upset keeping track, keeping up, getting plating, and keeping on bar with where Super is in the second game, but MKOI now have a Corki that's got a gigantic lead for what the comparison was before. They've also got a top problem. They've now got a Rift Herald problem as Alvaro continues to zone out. And Jojo, with wave being neutralized, is going to help get in and make sure that MKOI get this. Fnatic are coming into challenge, but Mickey misses the engage. Herald's already gone. The Paranoia in. The Shockwave Shockwave is a good nuke, but where's the damage yet? Running forward, it's easy to see. It comes with upset, all on one target. Now on the next, Alvaro onto his horse, re-engages. Magnet Storm's huge. The feathers, though, they fly high. LEC has no escape. The quickness from Mickey interrupted. MKOI thought they could turn and burn, but Fnatic, they learn.
The re-engage from Alvaro was perfect. The follow-up was not. And Fnatic find their moment to take the gold lead in this game.
I thought that the fight was overforced there from Fnatic. Trying to get something back once the objective had already fallen felt desperate. But they turned it into 4 kills, 2 towers, and just short of a 3.
It completely blows open here. Supa is going to be the focus from Fnatic as they force him out of the equation. But Poby barely gets the ball into Razork in time. A great shockwave sets them up. And they get the pick onto Supa, and again, that's where so much of the goal from MKOI was.
Yeah.
And Alvaro, it's a great turnaround. But they just aren't ready on MKOI. The ultimate from Jojo Kyun isn't quite up. You don't have enough of that follow-up damage. And Fnatic managing to get the kill, and even Razork barely surviving the tower shot.
Yeah, I mean, once the ulti from Alvaro came through, I just kind of looked at the cooldowns and I was like, you don't have any. Really nice play from Alvaro, but ultimately not converted into much as Fnatic. 4 kills, the momentum entirely swung. And look at Poby sitting at the top of the table in terms of damage done. Razork with a 3-1-3 scoreline. This is the Nocturne Orianna combo that we were promised. The question is, can they continue to pull it off?
Quick side note as well, upset. The ability to buy time in that fight. I feel like when comps run into you, Xayah gets free will. And it feels so nice, especially when this Dragon seems to be the over-result of Fnatic buying this gold lead.
And it's MKOI who have to buy that. It's no first item completed for Jojo. You're kind of scrambling for some of these items as well across the board. This is where, for MKOI, if you can buy time for this Yone to get into position in the side lane and he can farm up, you can look to take these fights. But a 1.5k that's about to increase as Poby finishes off this tower gold lead is huge. And when this is the focal point of the composition for Fnatic, this is the platform that they can stand on and look to take MKOI down.
I just love that we're seeing a hyper-aggressive Poby. I feel like all game he knows that in this matchup, you can't afford to relent.
Yep.
And just every time you have an opportunity, watch what Jojo does when Poby throws down a bit of damage. He's eating in. He's not backing off. He's looking to trade aggressively, and a lot of Oriannas would retreat in that moment. Poby is just constantly fighting Jojo and keeping that pressure up. That's what's resulted in a 30 CS difference between the two mid laners. And while Jojo had the better of Poby in game 1, Poby has flipped the entire script here in game 2.
He did that this summer. Everyone questioned bringing in Poby in over Humanoid, and I think it's already been proven that this player is solid. Not always the flashiest, but exactly what Fnatic need for someone like Razork to step up. Oscarinin to find this new life when he's been criticized over so long. And when Upset and Mickey are in this dangerous bottom lane, you think it's a perfect piece that fits in the puzzle. Alvaro's going to get a stun here, and we might get a fight. And I'm ready to break the puzzle apart if MKOI feel like they have something. But it's danger zone, there's deep vision. They need to clear that first.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much forcing from Fnatic. You still see Mirren pushing into this bottom side, so we'll have to go and collect that wave. And you also had Razork who's in his own jungle clearing stuff out. So at the moment, Fnatic just going to try and play this nice and slow, collect their waves. Atakan is up in 35 seconds, but I don't think either squad really going to try and rush that.
Well, here's the thing. The items are just so in favor of Fnatic. There's a world where I think that it's worth forcing. Something that I think LPL teams have been accredited for so many years is how they play around those item spikes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that this is a position where Fnatic should try and leverage that.
I do agree, but the Atakan has been a danger point for Fnatic.
Absolutely.
Yesterday was fantastic. Before this, miserable. So I think for Fnatic, maybe taking a second might be better. I do 100% agree with Eddie. Like, their item breakpoints are so strong right now, but I'm always a bit nervous of Fnatic around this objective.
Absolutely, but it's also one of those things where looking at Atakan on the top side, Oscar.
He's slowed down. Electro Harpoon flash in with a Cyclone as well. Now, meanwhile, there's tension going on top because Atakan will be started, but it's at the cost of Oscar's life. He truly is a weak side demon this game. But as he goes back down into the abyss, Fnatic, this trade worth about 3,000 gold, I think they'll still call worth.
an absolute worthwhile trade. And I
turrets.
think Koi ultimately did do the smart thing, because I think they're on the same wavelength that we are, that Fnatic want to actually try and force a fight here, and they don't feel strong enough.
Wait, all in, what Upset waiting, he thinks he can get the better storm, he gets it, but in the end, Upset is gonna die. You're playing in the weak middle of the map as Razork runs in as well, get the trade. Deer saves his life, but he flashes away. What?
It's
What
the
happened?
delayed Anaconda! It's the delayed!
What does it all mean? The first thing that I was surprised by, I have to understand why Upset went up rather than down. My initial instinct is the Nocturne's range. I thought that perhaps maybe he's working towards Razork so that if Razork can arrive, then they can turn the fight in their favor. But I felt like that there was such a clear path for Upset to just run towards his towers.
But it's also like, as this comes in, it feels so over-aggressive from Mickey, right? Like, sure, you can get some damage off the charm, but in this position, Upset really needed to just ult away from that flash Q from Alvaro. And even here, I think you're right, Benny, like, running up into Razork, but Razork didn't have the Orianna ball. Poby is resetting on the top side. There was no combo.
I didn't want to fight, Mavis.
I didn't want to fight. That's what he said.
Okay,
And I can understand also, that's why he didn't preemptively get the flash or the ulti off early, right? It was like,
I mean, also,
surprise, I guess.
just credit to Alvaro. This man's engages in this game.
bloody
The
good.
first one didn't work out for the team, but still fantastic nonetheless. He finds another one there, and what an angle to find it too. We've praised him in the past for finding these crazy creative angles, but to dive a mid lane tower when you've got your jungler and top laner on the bot side of the map, just super creative, very well executed. Koya tower. Remember, Fnatic was sitting at a 2.9k gold lead. Now that gold lead disappeared.
Also buys a bit of time for this Yone finally to catch up, right? This 2k behind Yone needs some items. He got played a little bit ago, now looking towards an IE, it looks like, and if Jojo can finally get into this game and they can solidify those ultis and finally see a Rumble grouped up, maybe MKoi can find an angle into this game overall.
It feels like, again, though, MKoi have to give up another dragon to Fnatic to try and enable that for Jojo. And my biggest worry is, by the time we get to another objective, look at the items for Poby. That'll be a Rabadon's death cap that he has completed. And then that combo becomes a deleted member of MKoi. I think that's where they're going to struggle.
I do wonder if he goes in the direction of Zhonya's next as well, because that could be the more defensive play, depending on how he's feeling. Whether he feels he needs more damage for the team and he has the required protection, or whether or not he wants that slightly more defensive itemization at the threat of a dive. You can already see the damage. The damage is good.
Yeah. I think it's just the way I see Fnatic winning fights is not like elongated, where Poby survives with his Zhonya's, right? So I think it's just nuke someone and get out.
Yep.
I think that's where, if I'm Fnatic, that's where I'm putting a lot of my eggs into that basket. And for Fnatic, they're still covering that golden goose from the top side as they try and get vision and control here for Poby.
And it's deep vision as well. Look, they see Jojo. Mickey's got a ball on him as well. Jojo takes the dissonance and it hurts again. All for the red buff to be secured. Elyoya will pick it up, but Fnatic lie in wait, looking for who comes over. Elyoya gets tagged out. Has to use the smite for the Krugs here. And again, it's desperation to get his camps. He's currently sitting 20 CS behind.
Just small little interaction there. The Horizon Focus actually providing vision onto Elyoya and the small vicinity, meaning that stealth has ways for Fnatic to counterplay it. Fnatic really testing the limits here in the enemy jungle. Look at Mickey's flank.
The TP as well, they want upset.
They do, but he has ulti available. He has also got flash and ghost. TP going to be burned. Fnatic, this is deep, but Mickey's on the other side.
Everyone's
of it.
TPing in.
Are running away.
Top tower's now exposed.
And there's no one there. This is easily taken. How far can they take it further?
Well, it looks like MKoi want to try and counterpunch in the mid-wave, so how far do Fnatic want to go? The wave doesn't exist, so MKoi, they trade tower for tower. So at the end of the day, TP for TP, tower for tower.
Base races, I'm just going to say that. I wish we kept going, but I do feel like Fnatic with more members would win in the question mark. Either way, as you said, inner for inner. Baron up in 10.
There's Zhonya's picked up by Poby, choosing to go for the more defensive route. The fact that he just straight up bought that. Man sitting on a ton of gold. Second item finally finished for Jojo as Poby draws closer to level 16. That third point in his ultimate going to be a lot of additional damage for these upcoming fights.
Razork also very close to that the GA as well. So I think across the board, Fnatic really starting to hit these breakpoints.
And I like this. Just completing your item. No Infinity Edge yet for Upset. But Mickey acting as gatekeeper.
Alvaro is there over the wall. He's got an exhaust, not a smite. Mewin finally going to get involved in the fight at 5k. Turns the lights off to burn down the Baron. He turns it for a kill. Smite out. Fnatic turns to engage in the shockwave. Super's caught, flushes out, the exhaust won't save his life. Arrow with a good engage, but their numbers down. Here's Mewen to burn down, flush away, upsets the life into the redemption. He's okay. Elyoya Cyclone doesn't do much on the first attempt. Now the chase continues. Mewen looking to get out, but he's knocked up against the wall. No chance. Fnatic putting the nails into this game and this series. Once again, like round one is heating up.
Sneak the Baron right underneath the noses of MKOI, and there's little they can do.
Such a fantastic force, and Razork doesn't want to lose the momentum. The Orianna Nocturne combo makes a connection onto Super and shuts him down. Alvaro with another fantastic engage, but the Zhonya's providing the value for Poby to dodge away from JoJo's ultimate. Upset in the clutch, gets the ulti off, gets the redemption heal as well. Fnatic just outplaying Koi in the fight.
Is Razork caught out or not? Elyoya chose his fighters to come back in the replay, but the fear starts us off. Mickey gets a beautiful knockup. JoJo does nothing. Elyoya doesn't have an ulti to land on, and a three-man from the weak side. King sets up MKOI to die. JoJo in the dirt for 45, and Fnatic are on a roll.
Fnatic are finding their fights, they're finding their skirmishes, and they're finding the weaknesses in MKOI's game plan. Finding everything that they need in that fight, and now more towers to go alongside it.
Mickey trying to bait out, he gets poked out by Super, but only enables Fnatic to open up the inner turret in bot. Elyoya is deep through the mid lane, so bottom is freestanding, free gold rather. An inhibitor go with it as well. It's gone from a 2k gold lead to 5, and Fnatic have an equal series in their eyes.
Game one, I sung the praises of JoJo and Elyoya and their coordination and execution.
Oh, and engage again, turning off the lights. Where can Mewen go? He was the lead. Alvaro with a good engage. Low health bar. Mickey will die first, but they can't kill Oscar. He tanked up, but will survive. It's one for that attempted dive, and still not enough from MKOI.
A nice defense from Koi keeps their base from falling. They'll protect their mid lane inhibitor.
I guess so.
But my goodness, the coordination that we've been seeing from Poby and Razork, this Orianna Nocturne, somewhat of a horror story here in Europe, is working to perfection as a Magi's is secured for the man in the mid lane of Fnatic.
He did it on the Galio. He follows his father in the best of times, and I feel like Poby again on this Orianna that is 3-0 in the LEC. Is not going to be adding 1 into the negative column today. It's a 5k gold lead, Dragons up in 15, and Fnatic looking to get this will be on Soul Point.
And look at the Red Bull Baron power play. Like, that is where that gold has come to from Fnatic. And now they're going to be able to rotate that over to this next Dragon. As he said, it's pick that one up for themselves. And for MKOI, now it feels like you got to start to focus on what is essentially going to become a best of 3 between these two squads.
I really thought after game one, this was kind of MKOI series with the aggression that they came in with, the coordination, the way they played around objectives. But then Fnatic in these fights in this game, the way that they just didn't hesitate, the fact that Razork with the Nocturne, the way that they found these engages was fantastic, and we're heating up for quite an intense series.
Well, we heard from Lore during the break, it wasn't Fnatic stepping up and heads held down, it was them patting each other on the back saying, we'll get him next time. And the next time has definitely gone their way. And I think it does say something. Fnatic came in with very little pressure on themselves. We saw Upside talk about it in interviews, being like, I don't know, you on Euphoria, saying, look, we don't need to be the best in the world. We need to show that we can continue this project, that we can do ourselves proud. And Fnatic now feel like they freed themselves from a bit of a curse at this stage.
So now, looking forward, Baron in 2 minutes' time. Koi have time to work towards their 3rd major items, and that's going to be the pivotal point. They've got about 2 minutes. They've got to get what farm they can. If they can get a pick, that'll make things even better. JoJo going to TP away.
Can't stop it.
He had a nice flank angle, but the rest of his team on the top side of the map, not going to have that TP available to him. Fnatic, though, also building up that itemization. There's that death cap now starting to be built by Poby. If he's able to get that ahead of the Baron fight, I mean, he becomes enemy #1 for Koi.
I feel like already, if it's not upset, it's definitely Poby, isn't it? Supporting staff have to be commended. The reason that I feel like, you know, Poby had so much freedom was, again, Razork hovering, that Oscar in and played weak side continuously, and as they look for Elyoya here, Fnatic is that weak side guy. It's almost 3 items, by the way, and 1k gold down still. The Ornn has so much value.
But again, we're seeing this patience from Fnatic. It's not Mickey flashing after Elyoya because they think they're hungry and they found that pick. It's Fnatic understanding what they need to achieve to close these games out smoothly. And that's where I think we're seeing the biggest growth for Fnatic coming into this weekend is when it's at its highest and you think the blood should be boiling. It's cool, calm and collected for the boys in the black and orange.
The last time these two teams met, it went all the way to 5. We know how competitive these teams get. And there's fans on both sides here in the arena today. While it's definitely Koi favored, we've seen the Fnatic faithful come out strong. We saw the support that they had yesterday. And now the Baron, 20 seconds away. Top wave pushed in, bot wave also with the super minions present. Poby, does he? I don't think he quite has enough gold for that final item.
But Jojo has completed his items. 3 items now completed on towards his Yone. This is where he really can pop off. So if Fnatic do make the mistake of setting up for this wombo combo from MKoi, it is not going to be a fun time. If there was ever a time for MKoi to find that fight,
Here we
and
go.
for Alvaro to find that engage, it's now.
Can they bring it? MKoi bring Alvaro at least first. Oscar in with the zone into a Bellows Breath. He gets knocked up and damage is good. He flashes away. Baron down, but an engage a shockwave. That slips by. And a great call forward. Got the feathers follow it as well. Fnatic played that to a T. Elyoya finally comes in, but way too late with a searing charge and sends him skyward. Monkey down. And Mirwin, although he can take one with him, it's a triple to upset. And Fnatic are just on form.
It felt like Jojo was CC'd for Infinity. That Infinity Edge did nothing for him in the fight as Fnatic land another beautiful combo and are looking to equalize the series.
And it was the drive-by from Poby. Razork's going after Super and just knocks 2 members of MKoi down as he goes for it.
It does feel like the clutch factor is winning games today. Much like yesterday, Fnatic are showing up and we equalize in Madrid.
We couldn't ask for more. A dominant game 1 from Koi, an immediate bounce back from Fnatic. This series is heating up, and both these junglers, both these mid laners are going back and forth like nobody's business.
Fnatic is already down.
It's a series to behold, and I cannot wait to see what happens over this next 3 games.
More, Law, we want more. Give us more.
Yeah, absolutely amazing recovery from Fnatic, and I'm joined by Oscar just now. Oscar, tell me about this recovery here in game 2. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, with the swaps, it got really crazy with the dives and everything, but yeah, they were also freezing a lot, but they don't know that I'm Ornn and I don't care, so yeah, they are kind of trolling, so yeah.
Big Chungus Ornn, indeed. Any comments on your jungler, Razork El Cachorro?
Any comments on what?
On Razork.
Oh, on Razork, he's completely 1v9. He's unleashed for the next games, so be careful because he's gonna do something crazy now.
Off the ground. That 2v2, mega important. Those lanes are scaling, but I mean, Oscar, if he plays weak side in this game, he might be a useless Yorick in comparison to Mirwin. It's been good so far. It's been a good series. Now we're going to see who moves to match point.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Hysterix. It's been an interesting series so far. A dominant game 1 for MKoi. A convincing game 2 from Fnatic. Now here in game 3, I do favor what Koi have brought to the table with their draft. But Fnatic have shown us all sorts of things so far at this tournament. At this playoffs, I should say, rather.
True.
And let's see if they can shine. And I'm very much keeping my eyes on this bot lane matchup. Upset and Mickey, Lucian Braum. It's a scary, scary combo to play into just because of how easily Lucian can proc that Braum passive and set up for Razork to make an easy gank.
Less scary if Super isn't going to lane into it. Again, MKoi opted into the same strategy we saw from Fnatic in the last game of just avoid the matchup entirely. So Mirwin and Alvaro just going to try and farm it out for a couple of minutes until we eventually get the lane swaps. And I think this is perfect for MKoi.
Yeah.
Oscarinen wants to try and punish this Cassante. Won't get a chance. Is taking a heap of damage himself.
Lane
And you
horrible.
avoid the biggest strengths of this Lucian Braum, which is the early game.
You know, at some point, Riot is is just going to have to ban AD carries from the top lane.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what rules they implement, pros just find a way to break them.
And think about how much top laners are going to rejoice farming out for a couple of minutes until we eventually get the lane swaps. And I think this is perfect for MKOI.
Yeah.
Oscarinin wants to try and punish this Cassante, won't get a chance, is taking a heap of damage himself.
Lane is
And you
horrible.
avoid the biggest strengths of this Lucian Braum, which is the early game.
You know, at some point, Riot is just going to have to ban AD carries from the top lane.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what rules they implement, pros just find a way to break them.
And think about how much top laners are going to rejoice. You have range, you can't go top lane.
Yeah.
That is going to be a
Quinn, you're a
celebration
bot laner
for the
now.
ages.
Oscar does hit the morning mist, so the shovel comes in hard. And with all the little pandas coming out, Oscar actually gets a pretty good trade.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. AD carries
Wave it.
forget that those little pandas are difficult to kill in the early game, especially for an AD carry that doesn't have that much AD early on. Pot's already spent by Super. I know that Razork is on the top side of the map, level 3, full clear top side. He's setting his sights on the Super.
Thought this was a horrible lane. I'm going to take it back, and even so, as you said, Razork coming in and skirt of vision. Perfect angle. Super's in trouble. He might have flash, but is it going to matter? He gets in over the wall. Nice terrain hop, but now no flash. And I believe our last sighting of that wave was pretty good for Oscarini.
Yeah, I mean, now it's quite awkward for Super, losing out on his flash, but Alvaro...
The roam is really good. A knock-up from Elyoya as well. Razork takes a 1v2 as he now discovers Audacious Charge in. Won't matter. Dredge line and Super yoinks with electricity from afar. Flash from Winter's Bite. Unstoppable, not in time. Close to another kill, but Upset doesn't have the damage. And Biscuits are a mini Warmogs.
It started off so well for Fnatic, but MKOI get the kill, and crucially, it's on towards Super. Takes a little bit of damage there, and Mirwin escapes the bot lane play.
An early gank that goes so well for Fnatic, a team that has done this swap before, and Razork doesn't respect the swap from Alvaro.
Oh,
The
Super.
Pandas,
The Pandas! Okay, he's all right.
he's
Oh my
able
God, that
to
was
just skirt away
Way to die.
at the edge of death. The wave, my goodness, no mana on Oscar is really the saving grace.
I feel like the only thing that Super's confident in, the fact that he had red buff from the kill, that he can slowly heal this up and stay in EXP range.
Oh yeah. I see him on the minimap, making his way to top lane.
There's Lucian on the way as well. Upset moving into position. Elyoya will be seen on a ward shortly. Gets a scuttle. Oscar's though so deep. And with no mana, how do you get out of there? Super doesn't get the range on the zap, but he won't need it anyway. Knock into the air. And Fnatic, their game plan as Oscar flashes away. He's tumbling down. He heals up. Alvaro has to get out, but Elyoya still takes down the enemy top laner. Alvaro running for his life. Upset gets one. Now the jump in is good, but Elyoya timing on the cooldowns comes in clutch. 2 for 1 in the game so far for MKOI.
The biggest problem is for Super. He's just been hovering top lane this entire time, and he's been losing out on XP while all of this is happening. Look, while the gank is happening, sure, he gets a little bit of farm here and there, but the engage happens. I'm kind of surprised Oscar doesn't flash earlier, but ultimately he buys enough time to allow for Upset to arrive, ends up being a 1-for-1. On the bot side of the map, Mirwin's getting a bunch of farm and XP, that's great for him.
Yeah.
But notice that Super's still here. Like, he's just kind of been hovering around. I think he misclicks as well, because he also presses his barrier while underneath the tower.
I didn't see that.
A very awkward situation for him as he now finds himself pretty much 2 waves down in farm.
Yeah, and it's going to be Fnatic that are very happy as Elyoya caught.
He's got a flag. Winter's Bite was really nice there from Mickey. It's all about this top lane, no matter who's in it. This early game has been ramping up, and gold is somehow even. As you were saying, Betty, it's because Super got the EXP, but didn't get the gold from the mini lane after getting zoned out. Means top laners are even in CS, but bot laners, not so much.
Yeah, it's the fact that you have that jungle advantage there for Elyoya with the extra kill is kind of keeping them within touching distance, but it is really becoming difficult now for MKOI in this 2v2. This was kind of the focus, and Super kind of got a little bit of a Hail Mary saving grace with that early kill, because otherwise he would be so far behind.
I'm keeping my eyes on where the junglers are once again. We know how impactful they've been throughout this series.
Wait, static field comes down. Oh, just out of it. Jojo otherwise would have been dead to the Arcane field, Arcane Storm rather.
Nice
Poby.
trading coming through from Poby.
He's having another good lane. I mean,
Certainly
matchup
is.
independent.
I mean, Victor is a massive lane bully, and it's what you need to be doing. You'll see on his champion icon on the right-hand side that he's at 79 stacks out of 100. Once he does get to 100, his wave clear becomes that much scarier. But for Ziggs, he's also a champion that scales really well with levels, getting those points in his queue, and with not that many items under his belt. Like, he can just start clearing waves like a madman. Eventually, this lane is just going to be, I clear wave, I leave, I clear wave, I leave.
And it can be difficult as well for the Ziggs to try and trade back effectively against the Victor, because so much of how you try and trade with the Ziggs is using those ranged minions to explode your bomb onto the Victor as well. But because of Victor's auto attack range, he actually is able to outrange a lot of that and makes it quite difficult for the Ziggs to really make that play happen.
Yep.
So Jojo having not the best of times. Still though, MKoi trading for Dragon here, and we'll be looking towards Void Grubs in 45 seconds, which is going to be the next one for Fnatic.
We talked about the ability to pull triggers. Having dragons and being able to force neutral objectives, I think, is really important. The little pathmaker from Mirwin. The cats come out once again, sorry, pandas. And the wife is here now. So Oscar in low on mana, but a little bit more damage to play with as his teleport half the way off cooldown. Worth noting if we see another lane swap as Alvaro, this is deep. Mickey going all in, concussive blows, one more. Gets wind, becomes lightning on both, super slowed down as well. Passive, but doesn't go through Alvaro, it resets. He does not get stunned up, and Razork simply zoning out so the upset can get more gold. Meanwhile, all out on the bottom side, Pathmaker in, Oscar's dead. Mirwin puts one on the tally.
Mirwin gets one back, but it's the bottom lane for MKoi that are struggling to get to the lane.
Winter Spike comes through, stunned up as Alvaro, good engage. No, Razork pops his ulti first. Mega Inferno Bomb does nothing to Mickey, and Elyoya thinks, hey, what can I add in? He's got a Cataclysm, doesn't bring it in. Super flashes away, gets over the wall, but now Jojo's in. His mana's a little bit low. I wonder, flag and drag in, upset, now in harm's way, and still a concussive blow, or rather, a Cataclysm to come through. Jojo lucky to be alive, Razork though finds a re-entry. Mickey with an auto will die under the turret. We're going Chaos Incarnate. Razork has nothing to get out of dodge, and Elliot has it all. Dreadline max range, and Mirwin's here to claim the glory.
All 5 members of Koi find themselves in the top lane, and that's beautiful timing because the Grubs are up for grabs as they convert those kills into an objective, and just like that, Koi swings the momentum in their favor.
They swing parts of the momentum, but wave after wave is down to that top tower as it ends up happening. And you can look at Super after this, but we're looking at the bottom lane here as Oscar in. That wall will not save you, but look at that top wave. Like, more and more of this CS is down to the tower. So even though MKoi are trying to operate on, can we get these people into position, they still lose one, they still lose another off the back of this. And it will be, 3 for 2 eventually for Fnatic off the back of this. Or, sorry, 2 for 2 for Fnatic off the back of this. But honestly, Super is in a terrible position now.
Okay, well, let's see if it gets even worse from here. The 2 kills area that shouldn't be 2 kills up. Dreadline saving the day under turret. The dive going horribly. Mickey dies and Super does not. The save from Alvaro. These hooks are coming out of left field.
Beautiful play from Alvaro to keep his AD carry alive. They're trying to keep the minion wave away from the tower.
Razork ready, but a Dreadline in the way again. Razork will ulti, another turret shot almost takes him down. Upset's close to dying as well. Razork's thinking about sending it, but Alvaro, wait, no minion wave. Dreadline, Mega Inferno Bomb. Alvaro is freaking crazy this game.
Koi are not slowing down. They're constantly looking for fights. They are outplaying Fnatic on the map. The gold lead now 1K. Upset made his way bot lane against Jojo. This is a risky position to be in.
Fight again, kill. It's like an LPL game. There's 12 kills in 10 minutes, and we have just thrown caution to the wind. The defining game in the series. And gentlemen, I don't know who's winning. Help. Hang on, Jojo, Calstom, good satchel charge. Held on by Jojo, he will escape. Poby with a level lead. Wanted to take it to him. We'll get a little buzz cut for Jojo's hair on the back end, but Super, meanwhile, with the grubs, it's finding ease of access with turret plating mid.
But this is the thing, MKoi have done everything they can to not just bandage Super. He's propped up, he's got a cup of tea, he's reading the newspaper. This man has been set up with a trust fund thanks to MKoi, and now all that lead that Fnatic worked so hard to set up for their AD carry has gone at the window thanks to Alvaro, thanks to these roams from Jojo. And Fnatic now find themselves in a gold deficit almost everywhere.
A 30 CS difference, and the Zeri has the gold lead. There's definitely an onside to see. Looks like, though, we're getting more action here in the bot lane. Mickey's caught out.
He is indeed. He's bought some time, though, and he has the ulti in his back pocket. The heal is the only thing gone. Oh, Yoya has Cataclysm, too.
Interestingly, Poby choosing to evolve his Q over his E here in the early game.
Oh, yeah, true.
The fact that he doesn't have that extended laser, the fact that he doesn't have that additional wave clear, instead going for the stronger trading tool, definitely a little unconventional here, but getting that extra movement speed may be something that he needs to help survive some of the early Jarvan ganks that we've seen thrown his direction.
Fnatic right now are just not stopping. The constant aggression, trying to find picks out. I feel like they took this comp seriously. They're like, hey, yo, we need to find a lead coming out of these lanes. As we said, bot is already an issue. Poby has a 20 CS lead. And while there is top even Stevens, Meowin might have solo kills, which is giving him a gold lead, but like, usually Fnatic don't want to slow down.
But it's the crucial breakpoints on items for MKOI with that slight gold lead that is making the difference now. First items almost entirely across the board for MKOI. Nothing apart from that Sundered Sky and Redemption on Fnatic. And with Dragon now spawned, MKOI can fight for pressure on bot, pressure in mid, and look to turn these first items into more
Black and Drag into a dredge line. We start the fight again. Super's over the wall, free firing the 3-0-0. He's a Mega Inferno Bomb. Does nothing because Razork is in the ulti. Cataclysm comes out, max range, so Mickey hits the perfect icebreaker. And that's how you get in a good social situation as Meowin now into a cage, in trouble. The Maiden hitting from afar, so close. And there's the Morning Mist, but no cats up and available till now. Meowin survives only if just.
Meowin just barely getting out of harm's way. Remember, he did find a solo kill earlier, but just the power of Yorick in the extended fight. The Maiden doing some serious work. Oh my goodness, Fnatic at the very least getting a kill back, getting their hands on the Dragon, definitely alleviates some pressure as Elyoya overstays his welcome in that mid lane. He thinks that he can get a kill onto Mickey, but the instant flash punish from Mickey by utilizing his ult was a nice response as Koi find themselves now once again equal on the gold front.
And it's just those little advantages that MKOI could have used there. We just said it, first items to play here as MKOI try to go on to Mickey. He gets the shield up though, which means Supa's damage isn't doing anywhere near as much as it should. He's able to get away from this ultimate from the Ziggs as well. And that flash, it just sends lights out for Elyoya. Again, as Supa just not in a position to follow up.
I feel like Mickey's been playing 2x KO Brom or something, man. That chain combo was gnarly, and you know, hitting the Winter's Bite on the turnaround fade, that was perfect way to seal it. Both supports hitting the clutches as you said before, Betty Gold is just about even. The turnabout play gives Upset, who still has that 20+ CS lead, a better avenue for gold. He's got his one item and on the way to the second now. 40 seconds till Herald, that's the next turn of play. Fnatic are trying to hold control in top, and we're going to get rid of some of this vision first and give a bit of priority to Poby again, which I feel like they've been doing all series long.
It's just Fnatic understand they are very strong off of these one-item spikes with the composition that they have. So they're trying to see if they can leverage that into picks, into plays, and they might have found Alvaro as he starts to crest up. Still fishing just for control around this Rift Herald that's about to spawn.
Right, blind dredge line here, he puts out a lens. Mickey is found. Super by his side, Super with a cloak of agility alongside the Yuntal. If you can't see it, I apologize. But I mean, look, Alvaro keeps fishing. This is the point, over the wall. Pulls out the Warden's Wrath and gets the range while Oscarinen is going deep. It's Meowin rather who was proxying before, but Razork's on the right side of the map, slowed down with the wind becomes lightning. A flip back is nice. The all-out will surely be coming soon, but the wall too far. Pathmaker though, Razork still in trouble. That's Cassante. He runs in, Meowin takes one. He shields out, flashed on, flips again. Wait, double Pathmaker. Cassante Meowin truly is the organic father.
Yesterday belonged to Oscarinen, but Meowin says today is his day. In a 1v2, he nets the kills, he nets the Rift Herald, and nets MKOI this mid lane.
We've seen Meowin have Cassante performances before, but with a 2 versus 1, such a massive outplay. The arena erupts as the mid tower falls. The second takes 50% of its HP. MKOI are right beautifully.
And then up, MKOI managing to get the play on the bottom side. Meowin ends up getting the flick back as they held off and using the audacious charge in the middle of this. The redemption perfect to keep him alive. And here, I thought Razork had got enough distance so he doesn't take the damage. But it's the knockback onto Oscarinen gets him the space he needs. The shield just in time to keep him alive. And then the healing from the all-outs.
What a chance! Oh my god, he stood up and he pointed at Oscar.
I mean,
absolute cojones on that man. Mirwood is 4-0. And while Cassante is one hell of a champion, let me just live it up to the hype of the player behind it. That 1v2 changed the whole state of the game. Not only did bot turret go down, not only did Big Crush, top is now dead. MKoi with a 3k gold lead, and I think Mirwin single-handedly just broke this.
I mean, it was already hard to kill Cassante before. Lucian isn't really the type of champion that's good at melting through a Cassante's armor. We discussed how, with the limited engage that Fnatic have, if they try to set up around an objective, the amount of poke that can come through from Koi is going to be difficult to deal with. But now there's a side lane threat that they just have no answer for. Mirwin is just this raid boss that can do whatever he wants. And this game is only going to get harder for Fnatic. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. The resets have come through. MKoi are making a beeline towards the bot side of the map where Mirwin has full control.
It is seldom seen that I think one player can change the pace of a game. And while, yes, MKoi had really a lot of signs of life, gold was quite even. I'm shocked that one player can do so much. And with this Dragon up in 15 seconds, it does feel like those two items cross the board are enough for Fnatic to start fearing. Let's see if they just send it anyway, gents, because they've lost so much control in this river. And now he's back again. Mega Blast Cone gets Mickey out. Oscar, he's back into his shell because he can't step up in this wave.
They're sending Poby topside. Upset is on reset. This is a no contest from Fnatic. They understand that they need to buy themselves some time and hope they can get to a later stage. But at what point does that come? This Yorick is no longer in a position to be the front line that you need. All hands seem to be looking towards Poby to try and get to that late game point. But you're up against the Zeri, you're up against the Ziggs. These are not exactly champions that fall off.
I mean, Mirwin, he's the Elden Lord, he's Thanos, he's every final boss combined. Fnatic are going to need all 5 members, I think, to even put a scratch on him. And that doesn't even take into account that you've got a Zeri with 2 items completed, Jojo in the mid lane doing the same thing. It's all blue in the bot side of your screen as Koi is the driving force here in Game 3.
Yeah, the scaling AP threat and 3 AD versus double armor Cassante. Oh, holy yikes. Who is going to kill the tank? It's a very good question posed by you. In this game, I mean, for MKoi, I feel like to get to this point, after almost falling to Fnatic in the first round, after falling to G2, which looked like a massive gap, the preparation for today has to be commended. The preparation for today has been exceptional. As Alvaro also back on form, Satokaj, beautiful. Mickey is going to exhaust, but he's in trouble, half HP. Stand behind me, Poby gives him a way out, but MKoi might not be done yet, as continuously fishing, he's still looking for something.
But if Jojo is getting this pressure with Alvaro, what hope do you have of an Atacam that's now just about to spawn on the bottom side? Or sorry, on the top side. Like, this is just so much control from MKoi, and as long as they can poke and push people back, they get their value.
Mickey, ulti, max range hits, connects, Winter's Bite turns into concussive blows. Jojo, 2 autos to go. He'll get stunned up. Double redemption, Mega Inferno Bomb misses. Winter's Bite does nothing this time. Oscar and TPs. There's another one though. Raid Boss is coming. Raid Boss is coming. Stretch line doesn't connect, but Mirwin has arrived. As you said, Atakan just spawned, and Fnatic are on the back foot again.
I mean, that was a really nice disengage that we saw come through from Jojo and Alvaro. Mickey with a super creative engage, put a lot of pressure down, got the flash out from Jojo, which could become a big factor in the upcoming fight. Right now, Oscar just doesn't want to cede full control around this topside river, but Super being left exposed means that he will just pick up this mid-tier 2. Razork working with Poby, but they're not going to be able to lock him down.
Beautiful side.
But you talked about it earlier, like, Fnatic want to fight. And Vinny, how do they start a fight?
That's a great question.
They just don't have ways to find engage. They don't really have ways to threaten a Jojo Pyum with no flash. The reason Mickey had to get creative is it's the only bloody way they can find anything. So for MKOI, it feels like at this stage, the composition is stronger, they're stronger, and they're only getting better as they become more and more online.
We only said MKOI have to be patient, which historically would be something too hard to ask. But today they've shown it. Game 1 and now, they can be really patient with these drafts, and it was their weakness now turned into an obvious strength. I just talked about the single work they've done throughout this tournament, to use your phrasing, Vinny. And again, it's impressive. 4.5k gold lead. Dragons up in 2 minutes. Ignore that. That Arakan top still seems to be something we might end up focusing around. For now, though, MKOI getting a little bit frisky down in the bottom lane, seeing if they can find Razork. But he too backs off, and in time, Poby gets back to base.
Okay, so Dragon and Arakan. These are the two objectives that both teams will be thinking about in the near future. You can tell that the pace is definitely slowed down as Fnatic realize that there's very little that they can look to try and force on the map right now. KOI are happy to just continue to scale up. BF sword now picked up for Super. Means that he is getting much closer to what we expect to be the Infinity Edge. And I'm thinking of what options Fnatic have. A flank from Razork, an ice ulti from Mickey, an overextension from KOI, a potential pick onto a member.
Here we go.
But KOI not going to waste any time. They're going to start the objective. And I mean, I think Fnatic might just have to give this one up.
Mirwin is going to start zone controlling. He's got to flip back. Oscar in dredge line, great. Again, the flip back there, the path maker into range of the whole team, and Oscar has to flash out. Yeah, Fnatic say, we'll just get bot turret. What else can we do? Arakan achieved. And this game feels like it's soon to be coming to a close.
Yeah, they can't even try and contest. They're just hoping that Poby can be some sort of win condition. The scaling can potentially be there, but
oh my god, on the edge of Vision, Oscarinen gets nuked, gets Thunderdomed. Fnatic for the turret, it's not going to be a clean trade at all.
Now, Oscarinen goes down, but it may be more as Mickey has to try and escape, manages to get away, but honestly now, Elyoya, no flash, no ults for the next Dragon. TP, I think, should be up for Oscarinen just beforehand. Maybe a window for Fnatic, but it's a very, very small one. Razork.
Okay, the flank's nice. Flashes doesn't do much to Jojo though, but the culling into the corner gets a shutdown. Now something onto the tanky Cassandre, but Mirwin's going to take a while to die. The all-out over the wall. Razork has no ulti to buy time. Mirwin again, a problem, gets the flip on all Pathmakers in, and the raid boss stands tall. Flash again onto Upset. He's just out of range. It'll simply be a double for Upset, but Mirwin refuses to die.
The collapse from KOI was so swift as how 4 members quickly convened on to help get KOI out of this situation. A beautiful engage from Razork locks up Jojo, giving him no avenue of escape. And Fnatic, as they rightly should, feel like this is their big moment. But Alvaro on the right-hand side, Super from the south, he gets chain CC'd by Mickey. He's forced to flash away, but it doesn't matter because from over the wall, he's still able to dish out the damage. Alvaro with a great ulti, limiting the options for Fnatic, mean that another fight is won for KOI.
There's just no one, as you say, can kill Mirwin. That man just stood in that front line the entire time, and while Super was dealing damage, Mirwin was almost dishing out just as much, and I think at this stage, that's the crux of the problem here for Fnatic. They killed the mid laner, and they just can't get through the rest of the lineup. And now it's MKOI picking up more, Fnatic trying to teeter more of that gold into Poby, but I just don't think it's enough.
What shocks me is that somehow, through this carnage, Poby is still 0-0-0. He's just been sitting most of this game in a side lane.
Yeah.
And again, I hate to come back to it, but this comp from Fnatic, I just don't really see how it comes together and works. KOI seems to have such a fluid idea, and of course, Cassandre getting a double kill helps. The draft really doesn't matter when things like that happen in the game.
Yeah.
But in terms of the comeback options, Fnatic feels super limited. Jojo going to bounce his way to safety. But yeah, Baron now, a card that I think KOI should just force.
Yeah,
I think they're so much stronger that even if Fnatic do come to contest, you just turn and you should win the fight.
Super alone could win that fight. I don't even think they need anyone else, to be perfectly honest. Like 3 items on towards Super. The Mirwin is just unkillable. And as you say, like, the game plan from Fnatic has been, let's try and feed Poby all this gold in the side lane. Now they got to see if it can pay off, but he's just shy on having that magic pen item fully completed. And now Fnatic's hands are being called.
Dredge line narrowly missing onto Mickey. MKoi so confident in this side of the jungle, looking for yet another pick. Elyoya's in. Doesn't pull off the Cataclysm yet, though. Super's also alongside him, almost level 16 on this area. Half the way to go, and you see Mirwin stands his ground. He's now got a caning Rookern, so Poby affects him a lot less. Baron sits up, but MKoi, the name of this game has been not to rush. They continue to show us how.
But the problem you just saw is that Poby hit Mirwin and didn't do very much.
Yep.
So I think that's basically where the issue is going to stem from. Now we get Super and Mirwin collapsing onto Oscar in the bottom side. Can he get out of here?
Going to back in place, not seen by the ward. Super comes in over the wall, stops it now. A Maiden is not going to make it a fair fight, even if this was Super by himself. The damage is too much. An easy kill picked up. And for the turret, they had to do what they could.
And there's no cross-map play available for Fnatic. They're all on the top side jungle, but Jojo alone was sitting in the river with good vision control. And if Fnatic had decided to start it, Jojo would have just torn them to pieces. Super going to steal away these camps as well. Fnatic being denied everything. As Koi, I mean, they've had a firm grip on this game for a while now, but it feels like that it's just moments away from the final nail being planted into the coffin, and MKoi looking to take match point.
They'd get a rematch against G2 from the upper bracket. They'd get a rematch against G2, who they beat down in spring to go as the first seed at MSI. It's been a fun little rivalry this year, at least in the later portion. I feel like these players, I mean, consistently in stepping up to the plate.
I think it's also like such a shining difference from spring. Like a lot of question marks were around MKoi coming into spring, even the playoffs, saying, hey, look, it hasn't been as clean. They have been able to solidify that team play. But this playoffs, this split from MKoi has been a very different story. It has been clean, it has been aggressive, it has been fast-paced, and it is a struggle for teams to keep up. And now with Super in such a strong position, this is MKOI's house, this is MKOI's territory where they feel confident, and it's Fnatic who have to tread carefully.
Koi do still sometimes make those individual mistakes, and Fnatic, I mean, they're kind of relying on those mistakes right now. Koi, though, they don't appear to be... Okay, this could be it right here. Super gonna remove the blast cone, get away to safety. But yeah, right now, Koi are playing it patient, they're playing it clean. Again, I do think that they should be forcing a little bit more with the advantage
like
that
game
they do
one,
have. Because the longer the game goes, you're just giving Fnatic more items, and you just, it might not feel like much, but the later a game goes, the more meaningless the goal difference becomes.
Of course, yeah.
So, right now, Koi, of course, still firmly so much stronger than Fnatic.
Yeah, I think it's things like the Lord Dominic's Regard being completed, but Oscar Rinnan.
Oh, here we go again. Look at the path making true damage. Oscar with the Maiden can't do anything, flushes away, but Jojo's here to dunk down and take the rewards. Oscar 0-6. And to be fair, he has been bullied this game again.
Yeah, but overextended a TP behind, and that may have been the mistake that MKoi were waiting for to really start to put this nail in the coffin. Again, though, like you're getting that push on the bottom side. Fnatic still unsure as to exactly what MKOI's plan of attack here is. But the reset's coming through. I mean, MKoi would get it here too, but I thought that'd be the signal to all hands on deck. We're going for the juggler.
Spike connects, Culling comes through, Jojo flashes away. Culling also escaped from a minefield placed out, but it's going to be soul claimed regardless. Flashes don't matter when they're engaged, it's simply a from MKoi. The nails continue piling up. It's Elder next. If Fnatic can get a flip there, sure, but now it might open the window to Baron as Oscar is respawning, but might have to TP in.
And with the soul secured, I think, yep, definitely the safe approach. Koi, I'd really love to see them force the Baron. They talk a lot about wanting to increase the pace of the game, and with the position that they're in, with the soul at their backs as well, like you thought that Mirwin was hard to kill before, it's objectively only gotten harder now that he has a soul.
Oh, wait a second.
Okay, that's ambitious onto Alvaro. He flashes away, but remember, Mirwin is here. Tanks up, doesn't have the all out, but going to take a while to die. He does flash. I don't know if that guy had to flash there. I think Mirwin was fine, but hey, he's the pro player, I'm not.
Yeah, I think if it was anyone else, Fnatic, that play might have worked out. But Mirwin was not really losing help off the back of that. I was about to say, you know, upset he's got his IE now. Maybe he can do some work.
Jojo,
but
face checking, Mickey flashes in, gets the exhaust. Jojo gets out with the snap charge, Mega Inferno Bomb does damage. Oscar here with the main, but Mirwin shows up and they say no. Mickey takes a wild chunk from Elyoya, who gets catapulted over the wall, culling at melee range. Elyoya manages to get out. A Super joins in as well. Poby now there with the Chaos Storm, but on top of himself, doesn't do too much. They were fearing the dive, the jumpers. Meanwhile, another target found. Mirwin brings him in to get kissed by the whole MKOI lineup.
That should be everything that KOI need to secure this Baron and close this game out. You could see how close that actually was for Fnatic in terms of the damage that they were outputting, but the difference maker being Mirwin acting as this wall of protection. Jojo face checks a brush that he had no right checking, quickly throws the ultimate down, but as we've seen so many times, the reaction from KOI is swift and ruthless. Super arrives, forces Upset out of the fight. Poby flashes in to try and get a kill onto Super, but he doesn't have the damage, and Mirwin just, I mean, single-handedly bringing Razork to his own demise. Baron secured. KOI looking to take match point.
And now from 5 to 8 to 9 almost. Yeah, there it is. Like MKOI finally found the trigger that they needed. We were, you know, quantifying like when is it finally going to happen. Mickey face checking. Oh no! The wall centered his own team. And Super gets a freebie.
it was Fnatic who managed to step up yesterday against KC and find themselves here. But in spring, it was MKOI who destroyed KC and went on to beat G2 in that final. And MKOI are looking to send themselves once more into that fight against G2.
And as your headphones are obviously breaking, your eardrums are now bleeding, as Cowman lifts up the cowbell, it is signaling the death knell. Alvaro is going to get out of the culling, but MKOI going to move to match point. It's now just dotting the I's, crossing the T's with this Baron in 3 lanes as Jojo resumes top. Flash from Razork misses the engage. Bit of a whiff, but finally onto Elyoya. They're going to get him into GA. That's nice, but look at the damage and response. Mirwin here on the side. The GA, will it be punished? No. Mirwin keeps him in place in the Thunderdome. For the time being, Mirwin not stunned up. He gets a shield, gets to an ally. Chaos Storm does his damage. Stretch line in again. Another good engage. A double for Super off the wing. A third goes down. MKOI the victory march to try and get this series tied up.
Fnatic tried everything to get the early lead, but it was Alvaro's hook, it was Elyoya in position, it was MKOI fighting back, and now they will push forward to match point.
This Madrid win rate is getting extreme. This series win rate is unbelievable, and Movistar KOI are 1 win away from playing a summer final in front of their home crowd.
Smiles on the faces of Elyoya as he's happy with the team's performance. Strong stuff from KOI. It was a little bit touch and go at times, but they end up closing things out.
Law, take it away.
It is an MKOI win here once again, and the player just finished the game. Fnatic is going off stage now. They're gonna join their coaching room backstage. MKOI is gonna follow shortly. They are the first team taking us here to match points in Madrid. You heard the atmosphere in the arena. It's electric right now. Let's see if MKOI can close it out right after this, or if we're gonna go to game 5.
Rotation flex. I think that's genius. Picking that into the side makes it so hard for Sign to find any ult. The constant side pressure, and it's going to be great for Fnatic.
Ah, amazing. We think we're getting the silver scrapes. Des, do you feel the same?
We're sitting here vibing because not only do we want a game 5, but because us as casters, we thrive in these moments. It's not just about these 2 teams that are sitting in the up echelon of our league. It's about the crowd, the environment that have gone nuts so far. Actually, both Fnatic and MKOI. Surprisingly, there's still so much support. But enough about that. Let's get into game 4. Let's see if this draft works out, because MKOI, this time around, Malvaro, the engage rather. I feel like a lot of the drafts have been hinging on how he starts fights, and MKOI basing himself around that.
But I think it's a lot of the creativity coming through from Fnatic, right? Bringing the trundle out, you kind of expect to go in towards the jungle. That's where we've preliminary seen it over the last few weeks, and instead they end up sending towards the top side. And I think it's a fantastic switch up. The fact you get this matchup into the tank, you get to steal those stats. If you're ever left alone with the tower, you can essentially just take that turret underneath Sion's face as well.
Hang on. Minions in the arena.
Somebody get that.
Last hit then.
Holy crap. How much? It's like 25 gold right there. 23. Oh my, wait, there's more of them.
And the gold prices the way they are, you really need to get onto that.
Yeah, where the range crit? What is that wave? Yo, Lux, get out of the conga line. What is that Lux doing?
Look, I hate mid laners like this, blocking the path into the minions, trying to make sure they mess it up level 1. It's just
banned for that, actually, I think. Wait,
my question is, where are the other minions, okay?
Yeah, well,
this is a long lane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're obviously on the other side of the arena, right? So they have to meet in the middle.
Oh my God, is this just our whole segment? This is our whole early game, watching minions around early game. I mean, this is what we look at in League of Legends daily anyway. Okay, so that's happening. Welcome back. Now, while this is going on, I just can't cast this game. I just can't cast this game.
Look, already Fnatic taking a little bit of an unfavorable trade on the bottom side, Poby as well. So I think at the moment, it's going to be a case of Fnatic again kind of playing in the early stages to just try and sit back, relax. Like, eventually Upset will be able to just out-push Supa in this bottom side. Poby will begin to outrange Jojo. Piona will be in a decent spot. And already it's Fnatic just trying to play full range and let Oscar and be that split pusher in the side lane.
Vedius, if you got anything?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I have so many thoughts.
Completely distracted. Yeah. Okay, now I feel like taking that away was important.
My first thought is Elyoya once again looking for an early gank.
Yep. And he's going to find an easy angle, isn't he? Oscar Renan has done the damage, but to find a killer is going to be hard. The chomp onto a minion instead. He's dead. Tries to deal with the wave. First blood to the dog.
And quite frankly, that is just a very basic mistake to make. Early on, if you have an advantage and your jungler is pathing away from you, you have to be way more respectful of the enemy jungle. We've seen Elyoya do these types of clears before, clearing one half of his camps, immediately going for a level 3 gank, and he's doing the exact same thing. Now, the good news for Fnatic is Razork's able to steal away the blue buff.
The Zenith Blade cleanse comes out. Arrow misses from Upset, but Mickey's quite low, pops a pot, and Super gets away with simply a cleanse.
Still though, Elyoya is on this bottom side after the reset. Double longsword, they may be looking for the fight, and with Mickey somewhat low, and there's no wards, that could be it.
Look towards mid, Poby, good chain as well, gets a combo in after the claws. Low minion help Baras, we look towards the engaging bot. Cleanse comes out, there, Razork now shows himself onto Alvaro, he's in death's grasp, but Mickey dies first. Flush away, Upset's gonna die too. Razork couldn't finish the kill, and under turret, close to being a third. This early game is a disaster for Fnatic. And meanwhile, the lightning doesn't hit from afar, and Elyoya's going in deep. This back from Razork. It's going to be delayed a little bit by Razork takes his jungle. Oscar in, I believe, took a turret shot top. Fnatic are crumbling.
Fnatic thought that they had read Elyoya. They thought that they would be able to get the outplay, but he just decimated them. He melted through Mickey like he was paper. He turned his attention onto Upset, and Razork could do nothing but watch as Elyoya secures himself a 2-0-1 scoreline, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game.
And now you've got MKOI who are looking for the swap as well, sending their bot lane topside, which means that Oscar Renan is already in a bit of a bad spot because he just TP'd back to the top lane.
Poby's got
actually let Mirren go boss, but here we go in mid.
Elyoya just waiting for time. Poby has no mana either, and he's not going to get speared out. Lucky.
But look at the way the lanes are now set up. So Oscar Renan has just reset. He now needs to walk all the way bot. A massive wave has just been pushed in as Razork.
And Razork, he's going to put up the steadfast presence that Alvaro follows regardless. This Maokai, we were like, how's the engage going to work? So far for MKOI, really good. Alvaro, even on the EU tree, is styling this series.
But Elyoya and Alvaro were the duo that we talked so much about in game 1. And now they're working together once again, stealing away camps from Razork. And it all kind of cascades from that first play in top side. Elyoya converting that first kill into an immediate bot side gank, now just putting constant pressure onto the enemy jungle. It's Fnatic that's playing catch up as MKOI is running away with the early game.
Yeah, and in the last game, it was Fnatic who were making these plays, being the aggressors, but it was MKOI who were able to turn it around. This time, it's MKOI finding success in these plays and top of the lead. Jungle and AD carry with a near 600 gold lead each. It is disastrous in this early game.
Now, I would be remiss not to mention Game 4, the last time that these two teams met. A Kiana in the hands of Elyoya was decimating the early game in MKOI's favor. But as the game went on, Fnatic continued to find good fights and scaled their way back, bringing us to a Game 5. I'm not going to count Fnatic out just yet because I do like what their composition brings to the table. The scaling on this way, the fact that Oscar in the side lane is going to be very difficult for this Sion to deal with.
But decimating smash and ulti, melee range, Merlin! He doesn't even try for that solo kill.
But this was the moment where it's supposed to start to turn. You hit the level 6 and you can find the play. But Oscar hits 6, doesn't hit the orb button, and Mirwin slaps him with the hammer and ends up taking that kill.
This would be a scream FF, I'm just saying it now. Like, this game is so dominant early. And guys, you know, I feel like MKOI just have fate on their side. In series, it just seems like in front of their home crowd, this team levels up.
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the year, we had the road trip to Madrid. In this matchup, we had that incredibly epic Game 3, the fabled Lichbane not being bought by Humanoid as he's at the Nexus. And it could have gone Fnatic's way, but KOI end up clutching up the series. MKOI lead the series with match point, and now with a 2k gold lead, 7.5 minutes in.
Oh, engage, a pinch. Mickey's coming in as well. Steadfast presence, two-shot barrage. Alvaro, though, does so much work. Mickey kites away. There's going to be a realm war for Jojo to get his support out, and only him. Everyone up around Grubs, 20 seconds, and a lot was just burnt.
Jojo still has no flash, and Fnatic still hovering around this mid. The ward will spot out that Mickey's in the area.
Dude, Oscar's doing no damage to this Sion. Mirwin is just chilling. This is like the dream Sion game, where you just get the farm and get free grass stacks.
I mean, an early Bramble Vest is doing some serious work.
Wait.
Mirwin, his ultimate still on cooldown.
Thank you, Betty. I couldn't see from here, and I was a bit worried it was going to happen again.
I mean, if he just hits him with a minion...
Or a decimating smash.
Yeah,
He could be dead.
This matchup not going the way that Oscar envisioned, I imagine.
or a lot of people, I guess.
Well, kind of the matchups across the board not really going their way, right? The only one who seems to be working is Kobe, who is getting some good work done with Supa now.
Trouble waiting again for the poke to come out. The flash from Mickey behind his support. Beautiful flash. Mickey clutched at being the body in the way, and Supa came close to averting expectations. The spike comes in meanwhile. The fight continues over at the Grubs, and Razork has done good work. It was actually MKOI to get the Grubs in the end, but Razork's bought time. The ulti out, avoided by Elyoya. Now a fresh target. Mickey with the Zenith Blade. One goes down on Alvaro. A trade as Elyoya gets over the wall. He then reignites onto Mickey with his ulti. Dodges the hail of arrows. One Dark and Dagger out. A second, and almost gets the trade. But then Jojo fixes the deal. A double kill over as Poby runs his way out, and Grubs will stay standing after the fight goes awry.
MKOI expected upset to reset because of how low he'd gone, but doesn't actually back off. That means he can come into the fight a little bit later and help out his team in securing at least something back for themselves in that regard. But MKOI still pushing and fighting back.
My goodness. Remember that this play sort of started with Upset and Supa going toe-to-toe in the top lane. Supa came crazy close to getting that kill back onto Upset. But then, as you highlighted, Mickey being the bodyguard helps his AD carry get out of that sticky situation. Grub's still alive, one secured by KOI, of course, but that objective's still a point of contention for both these teams with the Dragon poised and ready to be taken as well. A very tense affair we find ourselves in. What felt like MKOI quickly loosens his... Let's look back at this 1v2.
Yeah, you can see Supa, great timing on the cleanse here to keep his auto attacks up, but just not quite able to get the damage as Mickey's able to body block one of the Mystic shots, and then Razork goes in, gets the spite, I believe, on towards the Void Grub. But here, like, Hobie gets so much work done. Gets the play onto Alvaro, then sets up for the ult, which actually spreads on towards Elyoya and does a lot of work. But because Upset doesn't reset on that top side, he's able to come in onto this play and work with Mickey then to finish off Elyoya alongside Hobie. It could have been a lot more dire if Upset hadn't come to play.
Glad you brought up Hobie. Shut down for his Hui as well. The Hui that we seldom see. I mean, it's only been seen once before, and with these changes that have come through, it does feel like Hobie's a good study case for here today.
Important to remember that Jojo got a double kill off the back of that as well. So both mid laners kind of being set up as the carries here in game 4. Of course, when you look at the scoreboard at the bottom of your screen, it's Elyoya that's kind of stealing the show given how effective his early game has been. And
spiraling despair. Realm Warp, hang on. Jojo, he's out. He's gone.
A solo kill for Poby. As we were just discussing, the two mid laners, Poby gets the better of him, finds the outplay, and just builds himself his own lead.
And it may not have netted himself that big CS lead or, you know, some of that experience lead, but he has been getting the better of Jojo in these trades all game long. And finally, we see Poby now picking off Jojo, getting some much needed life back into Fnatic. As Oscarinen looking for some trades, but again, definitely not getting the better of them.
He's better now. At least lifesteal is giving him a little bit more to hold on to. As Mirwin, you're right. There's no damage being inflicted.
The thing is, though, for Fnatic, if Poby can get a lead, that immediately just becomes a win condition.
Yep.
Fnatic want to play at range. They want to try and force MKOI to run into them, where you can have Oscarinen steal away all these resistances from Mirwin, make him very squishy, and it's difficult for Alvaro and Mirwin to try and provide those engage tools because they have to try and go for these long-range run-in plays to make it work, and you're running into all this free fire from Fnatic and all this CC as well. So if Fnatic can play through them, that could be it.
Severing Bolt doesn't connect. The Fear doesn't either. So a bit of a whiff. Mickey does launch an ulti, and meanwhile Elyoya is getting Dragon. So for MKOI, this is a good position. Despite them losing out of the solo kill, Oscar, nice interrupt. Mirwin gets the ulti though, and in melee range, Oscar's still in trouble. Decimating Smash dodged away, but here comes the dive. Elyoya's going to send it in. The Nefiri forces the flash, and that might be enough. Mirwin's able to tank up and get out alive as well as Poppy. Keep his verdict, sets up something for top lane. Fnatic have a chance. Good Fear. Jojo the target again, but Razork was rooted and disrupted. That dive looked bogus in the end.
Poby choosing to do the QE rather than just the QQ, and, or even just getting out the lightning bolt.
QW, the severing
I felt like
bolt,
there was so much more damage that he had access to, and I mean, Jojo did exactly what he needed to. He rooted Razork underneath the tower, made it easy for him to get away. There was no point in Razork even flashing because he wouldn't have gotten out of the tower's range in time. Questionable place there by Poby as Jojo just gets something back, and just like that, Koi find themselves with the same gold lead that they had earlier.
Jojo's got 3 kills. We're complimenting the 2 before, even after the solo kill. Jojo, he's up in gold, and still, look, it's the effects of this early game that for Movistar Koi went so well, bounced back a little bit for Fnatic, but these leads still have impact. And I see 500 towards bot, I see 680, 700 in jungle for a Nefiri. Oscar's getting some gold back now, but as Mirwin clears the wave, it's simply going to be that. One turret shot's going to lead into something else with Grasp as well. Mirwin doesn't have the ulti available. Mirwin is just going to know that Oscar, as he takes the wave, could be in trouble if another decimating smash is there, but the pillar's in the way. At least running away this time, and with Ravenous, he's okay.
And that's what we'll eventually see this just turn into, right? Is that Mirwin doesn't have the damage to get through him, and Oscar can just take these towers in front of his face. You saw how quickly he got through one of those plates, and then with the Demolish took a second. And even though Oscarinen is behind quite substantially, he's still going to be a major threat on these side lanes. And I think that's where MKOI need to find a way to set Jojo up against Oscarinen, because maybe you have something then.
He had flash, didn't get away. Spiraling Despair as well, the combination. Jojo close to dying again, but once more he is the ruse. Razork going to bring him the keeper's verdict. Gets the ulti, but with a block, Razork says no to the dog. Elyoya would have killed Mickey, and luckily Razork was there to save the play.
Beautiful interrupt from Razork. You can see the value of the Poppy as Poby's forced to flash away from the ulti of Mirwin. That's 4 members on the top side as both AD carries meet in mid. Now Oscar on the bot side of the map. This is the very scary thing about Mio and TPing away.
In trouble, waiting for that W once again. LEC can't dive in. As you said, Oscar's getting time with the turret, so a plus for Fnatic. But there is a Herald up in this top lane. MKOI have control, thanks to the Scion, thanks to what mid's going to become with Super getting the wave clear and able to step up with his jungle nearby. I thought it would be started. In fact, it's Razork that starts it instead. LEC is going towards bot.
I mean, I think that the fact that Koi committed so many members, Oscar, I think he's going to die.
He is just going to run in, subjugate into Jojo. Good damage here, running out of mana, but Chop doesn't cost much. Now going to take on LEC, but it's just a little bit too far. A close call. Jojo kill number 4, and Herald going to be taken for Razork in the meantime.
So that brief interaction is a great demonstration of how scary this Trundle can be. His dueling ability is something that you can't really afford to trifle with. And if he had been level 11, having that second point in his ultimate, I wonder how different that could have been. He had to use his W earlier as well, making it easier for him to get kited. But it's just a great example of what Dagda was saying earlier. On the side lane, Oscar, he's definitely not down and out of this game just yet. The Merc Treads pick up for him as well. A big purchase, especially into this rise.
I think it's also, as you say, like, the second you leave Mirren out of that lane, it just really goes sideways. So I think this is where, again, as we start to see a minute until this next dragon, how do MKOI try and get Mirren out of this top side? And this is why I was talking about Jojo needs to be the one to face up against Oscar Innen. At least he can join in a lot of these fights late. He's actually the one with the TP as well. And I think if MKOI don't have that frontliner, you don't have someone that really wants to set up for LEC or be the one to face check a lot of these areas.
40 seconds till Dragon. It's going to become real important right about now. Solar Flare thrown out on a whim again, but this time it gets a flash from Alvaro. Remember, again, we talked about the engage. Comes from Sion, comes from Maokai. There are combos for MKOI. It seems easier than Fnatic's last game draft, but Fnatic have the easier tools this time around. And while they don't have the gold lead, it does feel like harder for MKOI to face check, especially with that flash gone, with some abilities down like the Realm Warp. Let's see how the approach looks here, as in 15 seconds, that Dragon's up.
Yeah, Fnatic want to try and play this very slowly. Every step that MKOI take to try and get into River, hit them with some spells, hit them with the arrows, try and force them back, make them work for every inch that they manage to take. But it'll be Rift Herald first, just to plunk down in the mid.
Recharge, okay. 1300 the lead. Herald gets angry, but Shelly goes bye-bye. Now, LEC are moving into position. Mickey Zenith Blade just out of range. A W just in case from LEC as the pack mates increase.
The game is becoming more tense. Oh, that's a TP.
They are committing. They're saying, forget the Drake. Let's go kill Oscar Innen again. This is just like the Yorick game. Kill him once, kill him twice, kill him a third time. Hell, let's make it 4. Oscar Innen must die.
They're doing everything in their power to limit his impact in the game. As gold continues to be invested into Mirren, a top tower is going to be secured for MKOI as well. They know they don't need to contest this dragon. It's a small victory for Fnatic. As Koi continues to run the reins on this game, an objective will fall in their favor as Jojo continues to get stronger. 5-1-0 now, the MKOI mid lane.
Jojo's terrifying. He is a big old rise, and Mickey trying to see if he can get on to him, but...
Soul Flare dodge, Jojo, fancy feet. This guy, obviously been watching a bit of MJ before the show, as again steps away. Look, man, I know, I've seen bad as well, and Jojo, he's playing damn good with it. Mickey gets poked out, MKOI get full control of top side after that turret falls with it.
MKOI now getting control over mid as well, and that's really the important part here. Realm Warp available for Jojo if they really want to overextend on towards mid. Razork shifting over to cover upset underneath this tower and make sure that he can actually farm successfully.
Fnatic going to be spawning in 45 seconds, but I don't think either team is immediately going to want to try and force that one down. This mid tower should be the focus for Koi as they continue to play through their side lanes. It's kind of been the story of the series for Jojo specifically, in how he has been controlling those sides and just keeping pressure up. Farm in a very good spot. The Rod of Ages continuing to stack up, and Fnatic thinking about what options they can go for. That top tower, there's possibilities for a play, but Koi setting up this deep vision makes it that much harder for them. So really, Fnatic need to reclaim control their side of the map. They need to clear out what vision they can. Instead, Mickey's just going super deep, and he's fishing for Jojo.
He's just sending it again. This is why Mickey on engage looks a lot better. Exhaust out there, the play, not match. Shield of Daybreak for the flash, but there's no follow-up. Mickey goes deep, gets Nothing.
He flash queued, didn't ult, and then left?
I think they're a bit worried about the collapse from MKOI, but Alvaro has no hope.
Okay, well, he lost his flash before, so this one's a lot better, gents. Fnatic get a kill finally. After Mickey's been trying his damn hardest. Razork was here before, that was not a good look. Jojo, he's just attracted, he's rage baiting.
Fnatic still aren't sure what they want to do though. Is it a dive or is it go towards the Atacon? They're trying to cover on mid as well. And now maybe they turn towards it, but they're not actually able to get much in the top.
It's a scary thing to start.
Subjugate. Oh, Mirwin squishy.
Oh, here we go.
Finally, we might actually see a 1v1 go right for Oscar in, and Mirwin won it before, but with Subjugate down, so much trouble. Mirwin has to ulti out. It can't be covered by Oscar. He had no flash.
2 levels down, 0-4. Oscar just confirmed, okay, I win now.
Be Trundle.
Yeah, he is just going to shred through those resistances. The ultimate does so much work for the man in the top lane. And Oscar now regains control over the side lane. That doesn't diminish what Mirwin will bring to the team fights. But in that 1v1, Mirwin has to be a lot more careful.
But you can see that Trundle ultimate almost halfway off cooldown as well. So it's such a short cooldown, you can just continue to do this, get the pressure, but Upset.
He's deep. And Super has everything. Chains Corruption has to be used. Mickey here to cover as well. Oh, Yoya had ulti. And if Upset didn't, he would die.
Ulti used from Upset. I was concerned it wouldn't be available for the Dragon, but still a minute 45 away. Atacon hasn't really been the focus for either side as that top wave continues to be pushed in. We're seeing Fnatic continue to play around this side of the map just because it's the easiest objective to play for right now, threatening those dives onto Jojo, but he's weathered that storm beautifully. The tower's still relatively healthy, and MKOI's still in a comfortable spot.
I did think at this stage, though, with the Dragon in a minute 20, they would swap Oscar into this top side and be like, okay, we want you to look for that tower as we look for the trade, but I think they're still scared of MKOI potentially rushing down the Atacon if they overinvest on towards this bottom side. So Fnatic kind of stuck on how to get the value out of this Trundle right now.
I think also something you mentioned earlier was how MKOI want Jojo into Oscar, and it's something that Fnatic deliberately want to avoid. So as long as they keep their eyes out of that Trundle lane, Oscar will continue to come back into the game. But here we are, objective started, TP available for Oscar.
They don't do this quick though, Betty.
No, they don't.
They really don't. Upset his lethality. Poby is cycle-based.
That's what they wanted, though. They wanted that TP from Mirwin. So now it gets easier to start to play at the map. They can easily look to escape. MKOI weren't really in a position, and Oscar had already started walking towards his top side. Mirwin looking to keep it leashed for the moment. I think he'll drop that in a second. But now they've got ways to play on both sides with Oscar and TP.
It's going to be a Fnatic rush against Fnatic. The irony would be there. Razork not going to willing to face check. No one stepping out into River. Alvaro probably affirms suspicions with the sapling thrown out. MKOI still here, clearing vision now. In River there is a little bit more. Mirwin spotted out first, and Jojo's getting pushed in top. 5 members of MKOI are in this top lane with Realm War. Razork, that's mega ambitious, but he kites around. He really wants his Grom, but he will not be disappointed.
MKOI are going to start up this Atacon. They need to try and get Trundle out of the spot side. He will rip through structures.
He will.
He does not need an awful lot of time. It's Jojo's reset. Great interrupt from Poby to buy Oscar in the time he needs.
Okay, again, and the poke from Poby to add in as well. Atacon is going to debuff MKOI. Teleport from Oscar Rinnan. 1-for-1 for the TPs now eventually with this objective, but they're hitting it away. Keeps Fnatic. Beautiful. Doesn't hold Atacon. Solar Flare onto Jojo and top. Zenith played as well. The pinch together from Poby. The range fantastic. The Maokai ulti, not too much done. The pillar forces the flash. And meanwhile, Fnatic are healthy. Upset kills Alvaro. Treebeard is down at 3k, 2k. Now Yoya getting sent away. No steal. And the yoink from Fnatic was freaking damn clean. Pillar out again. Decimating smash. Razork. Sneaky, sneaky. He's not going to get caught
no,
out.
Jojo sneaky, sneaky. Look at the mid lane. Jojo is just pushing through, looking for the tower. So keeping the pressure up. Fnatic need to back away, and MKOI don't want to let them.
Razork in the end, not acquired. Mickey slow baiting in. Razork getting hit away against the wall. Steadfast presence. Elioya flushes out. Look at the blinking health bars. Super wants to kill, but he has no true shot barrage. Upset loses himself the shield. As you said, Jojo's going to get a turret out of it, but Atacon for Fnatic is still a breath of fresh air.
My goodness, a crazy sequence from both sides as Fnatic, with great coordination, navigate their way through a complex Atacon fight. Koi is forced to scatter as the Trundle arrives and creates chaos in the midst of the pit.
Yep.
A beautiful one-off from Razork, connecting on to 2, and already Koi is in an awkward spot. Alvaro throws out an early ultimate to try and protect his mid and top, but Alyoya joins the fight far too late. The ultimate isn't going to connect from upset. Alyoya can't really contribute much to the fight, and Alvaro falls, forcing Koi to retreat. But Jojo does so much work on the map following this fight, turning his attention towards the mid tower, putting pressure down onto the dragon, and they even secured that objective as well. Koi still hold on to the gold lead for now.
And it's really well played from Fnatic to play around Oscarinin, but great headspace from Jojo to realize this fight is done. I need to make value elsewhere. And you can see in that fight as well, if Oscarinin presses Aura Mirwin does not survive. And that is basically what Fnatic are looking for, as a lot of members of MKOI here. But sheer aura from Oscarinin sends them away.
Everyone's converging top because Baron's now up. And this game feels like it's on a whim. This one is very close. There's a lot of stats now for Fnatic, thanks to Atakan. Also note, Hullbreaker picked up for Oscar, and when we're talking about his side laning, left alone for a while with his TP up, that's dangerous. As Alvaro, speaking of danger, presents himself next to a wall, waiting for the pillar. He will not escape. Realm Warp in vain. Upset picks up the kill, and Fnatic have numbers.
They're trying to keep it going. Alyoya going to try and redirect himself to the bot side with the rest of his squad, and Jojo flanks.
Mirwin thinking about an ulti, TP's in at 8k, half the HP, disengaged, Razork misses. Mirwin pops an ulti beautifully. Dennis played in, Mickey flashes over the wall. It's Chaos, Jojo playing on it as well. He's spreading to everyone. Fnatic are throwing round Baron. Fnatic are throwing round Baron. It's 3k, it's Leash, it's free, and Fnatic just lost their chances at game 5 around a freaking Baron.
MKOI disassemble Fnatic around the Baron. Razork's ultimate thanks to Mirwin's ulti. And even with a man down, Alvaro getting picked off is what incentivizes Fnatic to start this objective. The TP comes through, but Koi are attacking on multiple fronts. Jojo chipping away at the HP bars. Beautiful use of the ulti from Mirwin. Mickey goes in, is disconnected from the rest of the team, and Fnatic are trapped within the pit, allowing for Jojo, Super, and Alyoya to wreak havoc.
Fnatic's pick was good, but Jojo was better. Finding all of the players he needed to in the back, getting as much of that AoE damage off as he could, and just with that, MKOI might have found themselves a ticket to finals.
The MRD buff gave that guy, while only 3k, some significant damage. Standing behind the Baron, Super not to be missed as well. 8,500. This Baron sieges everything, and Fnatic have to find a miracle to recover what was lost. A beautiful fight from Movistar Koi. Once again in their home arena, it just feels like they seem to be inevitable again.
Koi, I was worried because they had such a good early game, but things were starting to slip. It felt like Fnatic were finding good fights with the comp that they've drafted. But just like that, they cement themselves, and so much credit needs to be given to this man in the mid lane, Super, right alongside him, dishing out the damage that his team needs.
Caught out though, Solar Flare, it's a pick, and Jojo taking a while to die though. That means Spiraling Spear doesn't do the damage. It's just what Movistar Koi want. They've snapped on him. Jojo's out, chains miss, and Mirwin is unkillable again. Super goes over the wall, maybe too far, but who's gonna punish him? Fnatic's base is burning again.
Jojo will not die, and it feels like MKOI will not lose in Madrid as they step forward once more into the base of Fnatic.
11,000 gold, Baron minions in, 2 inhibitors about to be falling. Razork has a target on Alyoya, but Fnatic need to pick, not choose. MKOI have 3 top, 1 in bot. All the base keeps rolling. The longer Fnatic are in with indecision, the worse it's going to get. Upset has a shield that saves his life from the decimating smash, but triple inhibitor, true shot barrage. Toby doesn't get hit, he doesn't do too much, but the wave clear needed desperately. Upset by himself, runs into Mirwin, gives him a free smash into the dirt. Mirwin proved this series who the real boss is. A Solar Flare comes through, and Movistar Koi can work their magic on the turret. The Kings of Madrid will not be usurped. They have a date with G2 in the final once again. Our spring champion had the buff in España. Vámonos as once again. G2 be wary. Koi are coming.
Koi will relish in the crits. The hometown heroes will close the series out 3-1. Fnatic showed a lot here in Madrid. They showed the potential and what they're capable of. And while their journey will end here in the LEC, we will still see them again at this year's World Championship alongside Koi, who's eyeing up G2 in the final.
A match that they were able to take in spring, and a match that they will relish the chance to do so once again. MKOI stand in front of the trophy and hope that tomorrow they can lift it once more.
The hometown heroes have the crowd behind them. When they're in their home crowd, the level up is insane. And I feel like the workings, the inner workings of Movistar Koi, from their time off, from their loss against G2 in the upper bracket, has been exceptional.
But for those 5 men of Fnatic on the stage, they should be proud of what they have managed to achieve. So many people doubted them. So many people didn't even think they'd make it to here or Worlds. But up against MKOI, they did push them. And it'll be a pleasure to see what they can achieve when they hit that international stage.
You can vote for your Kia player of the series. Mirwin, Elyoya, or Super. Those are your options, and I feel like it's Mirwin, isn't it? Bro,
it's funny because my instinct is actually leaning towards Jojo. I mean, many of the players had fantastic performances. Elyoya is most likely the player when you think about his impact throughout the series, but I really do want to give a shout out to that man in the mid lane. I thought he was really stand out. He really did what he needed to, I feel like, in the majority of his game.